thunderstorms late at night and first thing tomorrow can produce flooding, downpours, hail, and damaging wind gusts. Later tomorrow, breezy and turning much cooler with plenty of clouds, temperatures falling into the 50s. Sunny skies Sunday, a nice day, the high 70. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we've got sunshine and 65 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors, The Chris and Amy Show.
Check it out. St. Louis, Mound City, we are going to have a great day today.
On 104.1 FM.
Let's take it from the top.
KMOX.
Are you telling me it's almost Friday? Can you believe it?
Can you believe
I
it?
can't believe it's Friday.
You said almost Friday.
Can you believe it's almost Friday? Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
You even
What
said.
a bonus. What a bonus.
Right before we were on air today, just seconds ago.
Oh, yeah.
Ranj pretty much said it's not going to go well
Yeah, I
today.
said, are you ready to blanket up today?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
And you did immediately.
And without even any hesitation.
So to your credit, you were ready.
Totally ready. Chris and Amy on the big show KMOX thing, whatever this is. 314-436-7900. Visit with us today by calling and texting. Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. We are at Chris Amy KMOX, and we need you to follow us because you have to vote. You have to vote. You have to use and exercise your American right to vote in our Barch Madness tournament as we look for the best bar in the St. Louis area. That's going to be coming up, but we're still taking your submissions. What you think is the best bar?
Incredibly, because we already have too many.
We do. We have a lot. So people drink a lot.
Are there playing games?
I don't think there. I mean, maybe we might have too
it's
many.
Getting complicated. Yeah. We might have to have a play.
We
That's
might have to
actually
have
a
a play-in.
really good idea, Michael.
Couple of play-in games for those final 4 spots.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we need your submissions at Chris Amy KMOX or text us 314-436-7900.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, as soon as we got done with the show yesterday, President Trump fired Kristi Noem as the head of the Department of Homeland Security. Did not see that coming. It looks like Markwayne Mullin is the new secretary.
One word.
Any place, anytime, cowboy.
Markwayne. One word.
Markwayne is one word, one capital letter, and it's the M. It's not like Mark capital W. Yeah, it's not like
Which
that.
I did learn yesterday. I thought Markwayne was 2 words, but it's one. Hey, remember when we talked about the proposal to increase the speed limit in Missouri and certain rural highways from 70 miles per hour to 75? It passed the Senate and it moves on to the House. By golly, we might get this done.
Oh, you people in those rural areas, back to you people again,
I know,
gonna
I
be
knew it was
driving like bats out of hell. And it is the trade deadline today. This afternoon, it happens in the NHL. What will the Blues do, if anything? 2 o'clock is that deadline, and we are going to keep you updated throughout the day.
They play San Jose tonight.
They do.
Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy.
He read that as if he were testifying to Congress and reading someone else's tweets. He didn't say that like that was his own thought.
So
his own.
He was.
Okay.
So that was Markwayne Mullin. If you remember back in 2023, there was a hearing with Sean O'Brien, the union chief. And
I know him.
And this is Markwayne Mullin. Here's the longer form of it. This is Markwayne Mullin challenging Sean O'Brien to a fight on the floor.
What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be 2 consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution every poll?
No, sit down. Sit down. Okay. You're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond? Mr.
Hold it. If we can, no, I have the mic. I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't.
So
This is a hearing.
You are
This
a
was-
United States Senator.
So that was Mark Wayne Mullen. He starts by reading a tweet from Sean O'Brien, and the tweet from O'Brien was directed at Mullen, and Mullen was reading it back to him and then challenged him to a fight. So that is our new DHS secretary.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Michael?
I don't know. I mean, it's not a high bar these days to get into the Trump cabinet. So, look, Donald Trump likes performative politicians. And that's what this guy's about. I mean, he likes the fact that he goes and stirs it up and says some brash and ridiculous stuff. And what was interesting to me about the whole nomination of him to take that job is when they got Mark Wayne Mullen, after he had been announced, he was like, yeah, I found out that I was being named 30 seconds before it went out on a press release. Now, I got to tell you, I wouldn't take a job in the administration if I was a sitting United States senator. I think Senator Mullen's career is got much more longevity being in the United States Senate than it does in the Trump cabinet. And you need to look no further than anybody who's ever served in a Trump cabinet. It doesn't end well for them. And why you'd give up a United States Senate job to, go eventually get fired by Donald Trump makes no sense to me.
Yeah. Let's go back to the firing of Kristi Noem, because as you said, nothing ever goes well for anyone in a Trump administration, full stop.
Right.
The only person, I think we talked about this earlier, who came out of the first Trump administration with better off than they went into it was Donald Trump.
True that.
Which is incredible, all things considered, but somehow he came out of it better. Everyone else, even though he claimed that he hired the very best people and these are the greatest people, he turns on everyone, he fires everyone. Donald Trump, here is the one truism that is consistently true with Trump. Trump takes what he wants or does what he wants and leaves someone else holding the bag. Full stop. That's how it always happens. And so if you are in the Trump administration, it is not if, but when you will no longer be useful to him and he can kick you to the curb.
Well, and hence, his first administration really had some extremely credible people. Rex Tillerson, General McMaster. He had a lot of good substantive folks that eventually were laid to the wasteland by Donald Trump. This time, with the exception of potentially Marco Rubio, I think he's got a B team in this job. And it just is amazing to me that people would want to sign up because it's as clear as daylight how this ends for you. It doesn't end well. I mean, Mike Pompeo at one time was thinking about running for president of the United States. And by the time he got done being Secretary of State and was ultimately terminated by Donald Trump, his career's over with. He has nowhere else to go. And why people want to be associated with it, maybe their egos are such that they feel like, oh, I can be the one person that's going to survive this. No, you're not. And I don't think that Donald Trump eventually survives this. I don't think the post-presidency for Donald Trump has as rosy scenario for him as the last presidency that he finished.
Well, I mean, like I said, think of Kristi Noem, and you cannot be any more servile, ingratiating, fawning, just absolutely. To be honest, I'm struggling to use terminology that's not super vulgar in nature to describe how these people are around Donald Trump and what Kristi Noem has done to try to put herself in good graces with Donald Trump. And at some point, she says that Donald Trump approved the $220 million for that campaign, right? That would have her face on it. And Donald Trump said, absolutely not. I didn't say that, which means not only did he turn his back on Kristi Noem, But also, he's now accusing her of lying to Congress, which is a big deal. So she loses her job, and the administration told NBC that it was, quote, a culmination of her many unfortunate leadership failures, including the fallout in Minnesota, the ad campaign, the allegations of infidelity, the mismanagement of her staff, and her constant feuding with the heads of other agencies, including CBP and ICE. She's gone. Think of how she sold her soul to this man, and she is an old glove to him.
And that's not going to end well. And I don't suspect that this is the last person in this cabinet, even between now and the election, that we're going to see ultimately dismissed. Even though Pam Bondi there with her adversarial stuff, the president seems to like it. By the way, I don't buy for a second that Donald Trump wasn't okay with the $200 million. Yeah. He was upset with the $200 million when she became a lightning rod for him, and he was going to have to own her problems. And I think that will be ultimately what happens to Pam Bondi, and who knows, maybe even Secretary Kennedy.
Eric Schmidt. I mean, who's going into this administration who had somewhat of a legitimate career and has thrown it away because they have the self-immolation before this man blows my mind.
Well, and I wonder if there was a conversation between Senator Mullins and the president prior to him being nominated. Like, hey, hypothetically, if I were to get rid of Kristi Noem, would you be okay coming in and taking this job? My reflexive answer would have been no. I'm happy representing the people of Oklahoma. But who knows? Maybe Donald Trump just put him out on Front Street and said, hey, you're going to take this job. That would be a note of caution to me. If you are an Eric Schmidt, somebody out there who's salivating to be more than what he is right now, than just a United States senator, that he could get injected into this, and what would look like a very promising senatorial career is suddenly going to be over with because you're going to go and be the latest punching bag for the administration.
Could you come in and just tread lightly? Can you get away with doing that and then write it out? And then when everything is over, you go back to being in the Senate? Because obviously the next president coming in, especially if it's not a Republican, is going to replace you. So could you do that and politically be okay?
Well, I guess a couple have done it. The senator, the female senator from Georgia, I forget her name, the blonde lady.
Loeffler?
Yes. She's made a second appearance now inside the Trump administration. So maybe if you can stay below the radar. But what is surefire consequence for Donald Trump? I mean, this man has the lowest approval ratings of any president that since we've been polling, that he's never going to take the blame here. Pete Hegseth is ultimately going to own whatever happens in Iran.
Well, he can just go back to TV.
Donald Trump is the one. Right. But I mean, so I don't see the formula of participating being any different for anybody else. Maybe there are a couple of the lower cabinet spots where you can just keep your head down, where you don't become a lightning rod, and maybe you get out of there and get to go serve on a school board or some fire boards or some corporate boards after you're done. But I think it's a career killer to go and work for Donald Trump.
Michael Kelly is with us today. John Hancock, too busy being in Florida. He's too busy walking to the beach right now as we speak.
Can you imagine? He wouldn't know where the ocean was if it was right in front of him. He got lost, you guys. He was a block away from the ballpark, leaving the ballpark yesterday, and got lost walking back to my place, which I'm telling you could throw a baseball to.
Well, yes. I mean, I have been there. And when you leave Michael's condo and walk down the stairs,
it's right there.
It says player entrance for the stadium.
Well, don't give away too much.
The poor guy is just.
It's, you know what? He's got a special set of skills, and it seems like it's not the logistics part.
He's special, all right. But I got to tell you, what's incredible is this one man's one of my best pals, but he and I sometimes work on issues together, and I'll sit in meetings and he'll come up with some of the most brilliant ideas and thoughts of what needs to be done. And then we'll have trouble walking to the parking lot. And I think to myself, how is it possible?
Creative brain.
Yeah. How can somebody be so good at something and then not be able to do basic functions?
His brain is creative. He's, I guess he's right-brained, right?
I don't know.
He must be right-brained.
Well, he'd have to be right-brained because I'd be left-brained, being from the left side of the aisle.
I don't know that's how that works.
Oh, okay.
Michael Kelly, Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji. It is the Chris and Amy show today on this Friday on KMOX.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Claire Haver, a board-certified OBGYN and menopause specialist. My new podcast, Unpaused, is the place for bold, unfiltered conversations about what it really takes for women to thrive in the second half of life. Every week, I sit down with medical experts, cultural icons, and powerhouse women to talk about what really matters. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Listen to and follow Unpaused with me, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Presenting Again Fling's love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wait, Corey from Air Comfort Service? What are you doing in my basement?
Standing behind our work.
It's 9 p.m.
At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation, we take pride in our work. If you need heating service, no matter the time of day or night, we're here to help with 24/7 emergency service.
So you're just going to stand behind my furnace?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you hand me those paper towels then?
Absolutely. For heating service or HVAC maintenance, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Dreaming of college but worried about the cost? The Together Foundation is here to help. The Together Foundation is awarding 5 $1,500 scholarships to St. Louis area students who are ready to take the next step toward their future. Applying is simple, but time is limited, as applications will be accepted through March 31st. Learn more or apply at togethercu.org/scholarship. That's togethercu.org/scholarship. This community message has been brought to you by Together Credit Union.
When you get hurt, you don't want to end up on the injured list. You want to get back in the game, stronger than ever. At Morgan & Morgan, we're the home run hitters you need. Morgan & Morgan, proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-566-3062. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-566-3062. That's 800-566-3062. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
A century strong. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
Well, the White House Twitter account has been, really throughout the whole administration, posted a lot of controversial or embarrassing or both content. They're very much into memes. It's a very online adolescent way of thinking. That's how this feels. It's very online. It's very juvenile, and it comes across as a bunch of bros wanting to own the libs with these hilarious memes that they thought of while living in their mom's basement. And Ranj, you pointed out one that I actually missed until today, which was actual footage of bombing, correct?
Yeah.
In Iran, that's what we saw. But it was cut into a video as if it were Call of Duty, like a video game.
They made it look like it was Call of Duty, the video games you mentioned, and they had this hype music over it. It was sort of, it seemed a little too pumped up for what it was.
Yeah.
Portraying. I don't know. I just thought it was a little much.
It is. Well, it's war and people are dying. And
Yes.
you can agree that there's a just cause for a war and not make it into a video game as if it's a joke, as if you're flexing your muscles. Well, the White House last night, put out a 42-second video, and in all caps, the headline is Justice the American Way. And then it's clips of different Hollywood films.
Wake up, Daddy's home. Welcome home, son.
Strength and honor. Strength and honor. What will you do without freedom?
Mavericks inbound.
You can't conceive of what I'm capable of.
Finishing this fight.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
I am the danger. Time to find out.
Maximum effort.
Here it comes. Now end this.
Flawless victory.
Okay.
It's so embarrassing. So there's clips from Top Gun and Braveheart, which is not American. Gladiator, not American. And then, of course, the
Walter White,
Tron, Superman, Iron Man. Pete Hegseth is in there. They flash his face there in between all the superheroes.
What a badass.
Now, remember, we're investigating right now because there's a good chance the U.S. Also hit a girls' school in Iran.
100 plus.
Over
close to
100
180?
kids killed. And also, again, you can say, well, this is a just war. I'm glad we struck Iran. But it's still a war where you are blowing up buildings. People will die. There are innocent Iranian people who are against the regime who might be casualties as well. At the very least, they're in a war zone. And you post this childish teenage boy video like, look how strong our power is. Total victory. I'm so embarrassed that it almost doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like, no, this can't possibly be the United States. This can't be the White House. This can't be the president. It's so embarrassing. It's difficult for me to find words to describe it.
Yeah, and like you said at the very beginning, the White House Twitter account, social media account has been over the top ridiculous since Donald Trump took over, and that's just one of the norms that we've seen broken. What's insulting to me about this whole type of stuff, and it even started with day one of the war or conflict, depending on which member of the administration you listen to, they started with an adversarial tone right out the gate. Pete Hegseth's first speech or first briefing of the media started with, now you liberal media and you people aren't going to support this, etc., but this is what we're doing. And what was hard for me to understand is, look, I don't agree with anything this administration is doing. I can't really point to anything that I think that I like about them. Having said that, we have men and women, the people I know, we all know, that are out fighting for our country. And we all want to rally around our men and women in the military. And to have an adversarial political tone right out of the gate, to those of us who would even support, even if we don't agree with what the administration's up to, want to support our troops, is not how you rally everybody together. And I think this just continues the divisiveness and the breaking of the norms. And I part of me hopes that someday we'll get a new administration that will be Republican or Democrat and they'll get back to normal. But the partisan in me hopes that we kind of see some of the same behavior back, which I don't think is healthy for the government or for the globe.
But I get it.
Yeah.
And I get it. I'm sure there are a lot of people on the left who feel that way too. Like, we've been taking this for a long time. Let's hit back. I don't know if it's the right thing, and let's see what happens 3 years from now. But these posts are, it's almost like it directly contradicts what they're telling us. What they're telling us about this operation is that we had no choice. We had to reluctantly. We're entering this thing with Iran. Those posts, those are celebratory. Those are, look at what we are doing. Look how much might we have. Don't mess with us. We're the best, and we're going to come after you, and you better be afraid. That's in direct contradiction from what they're trying to tell us. But they're doing here, or the reason we're involved.
But isn't that the hallmark of the Trump administration, to say one thing and do the complete opposite? To accuse President Biden of only playing golf, and then Donald Trump plays golf 100 times. To accuse, whatever it is that the accusations that I'm going to bring prices down on day one. We're not going to get involved in big wars. We're going to change the way we think. We're going to get respected as a country. We're going to work with our allies, and to do the complete opposite of what's said. So, unfortunately, none of this to me is becoming as shocking as it should be, because I'm just now expecting it. If Donald Trump says left, guess what? He's going right.
Michael Kelly joins us on the Chris and Amy show. He's with us until 10 o'clock. We'll have Jen C's talking soccer at 10:30. Kate Nibbs with Wired is going to visit with us. We're going to talk about the anonymous bettors who are cashing in on these Iranian strikes on the prediction markets. And that's not good. Also, Scott Jagow is going to be with us. Usually he's at 11, but here at 10 o'clock. He'll join us at 11:30 today. It's all coming up on the Chris and Amy show on KMOX.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Glover Show, trying to explain The Glover Show. So when I was a younger man, I used to go to happy hour almost every night, and I loved it. And I've always thought of my show as being like happy hour. It's always interesting. It's often silly, but not always. There are real things to talk about amongst friends, politics, and personal things. So that's what it is, really. It's happy hour for thousands of us every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m., and I hope you'll tune in and join the happy hour.
The 46th Builder St. Louis Home and Garden Show, presented by James Hardy, is back.
This St. Louis tradition returns to America's Center March 6th through 8th.
Shop hundreds of local companies for home improvement deals.
Find ideas, inspiration, and expert advice.
Come tour amazing outdoor living spaces, learn from expert gardeners, and browse our spa showcase to turn your backyard dreams into reality.
The Home and Garden Show is back at America's Center March 6th through 8th.
Details at stlhomeshow.com.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Currently, it is 66 degrees and pretty sunny out there. High today of 80. Tonight, cloudy and warm, breezy late with some heavy thunderstorms. Could be damaging wind gusts, a low of 63.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. The American dream is owning your own home, especially a brand new McKelvey home. This will be your last chance to take advantage of the tremendous savings of the 6 remaining market-ready homes or our luxurious Madison display at Summerlin and O'Fallon. Also get special 4.99% fixed 30-year financing. Talk to Stephen Bonfani on how you can qualify for this great offer. Visit McKelveyHomes.com. It's time to move up to McKelvey.
Rush Hour Sports, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here.
Bernie Nicholas joins Rush Hour Sports tonight at 5 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It's Chris and Amy show on KMOX. Michael Kelly is in with us. We're with you till 12. Gas House Gang at 12. Going to have Matt Pauley hanging out with me. We'll talk to Bill Lindsay, who is going to break down the trade deadline for us in the NHL. That will be at 12:30 today. And Matt, of course, is in spring training. He's in Florida. So he'll visit with us, give us a Cardinals update as well. So, by the way, guys, don't forget, you know what happens 2 a.m. Sunday morning.
Spring forward.
Spring forward
That's
is
right.
this weekend. That's one of those that will sneak up on you. That's not, that's not unfair to say. Oh, can you believe it's already spring?
That one did sneak up on me.
I saw it 2 days ago and I went, oh gosh, yeah, it is this week.
Fallback never sneaks up on me.
No.
Spring forward does.
Yeah, fallback's not always a pleasant surprise.
But isn't it great because, like, we're going to have sunlight. It's not like you're going to get home from work, eat dinner, and, oh, my gosh, it feels like midnight. You can go home from work, get yourself some dinner, and still have a time to take the dog out for a walk.
Yes. However, I follow this account on Instagram. I can't remember what it's called, but it's something like Christmas Passion or something like that. And it's just like these occasions. They will constantly all year long post Christmas scenes with music underneath. And every time I see a post, I'm like, oh, I miss it. I want to go back to that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm already ready for Christmas.
I do like, I think I told Amy this earlier before you got there, Chris, that I kind of like the idea now that it's dark in the evening, so I don't feel guilty if I were to go sneak in bed at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, sure.
And get a little early sleep. But now that we're going to move forward and the sun's still going to be out, you can't go get in bed at 8 o'clock and the sun's still out. You're a grown adult. You're supposed to be out, functioning.
That's true.
We did have someone who is watching. Brian is watching on YouTube. And, we played a clip from the White House post on Twitter. The Justice the American Way. He did point out they did have Kylo Ren as well. Ren.
That fits.
So
that fits
he was on the dark side, but they did have Kylo Ren. So there is that. And then I know we want to ask Michael about the strange bedfellows of Josh Hawley and Elizabeth Warren. But before we do, I did want to say we've gotten a couple texts. One of them says, Amy, you have changed obviously so much. It is beyond disappointing. And another person said, Amy, you've changed. And I just want to say, I have not changed at all.
What have you changed with politics?
Yes, they think I'm a liberal, a woke liberal. Right. And then what I want to say is, as a lifelong conservative, I have not changed at all. It's why I'm dying alone on an island, because the Republican Party is not a conservative party and MAGA is not conservative. And it has changed so much that as a lifelong conservative, I have been abandoned and people think that I have changed. And I think the same people who think that I have changed don't know who Frederick Hayek is. And I'm guessing they don't know who Frank Meyer is. And I guess they don't know what the Austrian school is. And they're not conservatives. They have fallen into the cult of Trump. I haven't changed at all. And it's very obvious. And you can take every word I've ever said and it's the same.
Look no further than tariffs. There is no conservative economist out there. And to watch all of these folks, I have empathy for you on this because I lived through this myself over the last 5 or 6 years as the rise of the progressive movement came in. I mean, I'm a Democrat because I believe government should play a role in helping those who can't help themselves, protecting workers' rights, standing up and protecting a middle class. Well, to watch the demonization of workers, whether they be policemen or whatever it is under this progressive movement, I found myself like, wait a minute, I'm alone, but I stand for the same things that I've always stood for. My friend John Hancock deals with the same thing, Amy. But I tell you, when John and I have arguments, even on KMOX or in person, he's still arguing the same principles that he always has.
Yes, because we like small government and because we think it's weird that the president wants us to call him daddy. What the hell are you talking about?
And the protection of the Constitution.
Gosh.
I mean,
yes.
To see Republicans who used to run around with literally pocket constitutions, giving people lectures about strict, interpretation of the Constitution, do everything and contort themselves in every which way to appease a person who is not a conservative. He's a populist. And most of the things that he is putting out there are not conservative principles.
So let me just follow up, because that person who texted in doesn't like me either. You'd be shocked and says, I have no business on talk radio. So let me just go ahead and fold it up now. But that person followed up and said, Amy, you have changed. You used to be a moderate conservative. Yes, she still is. I'm sticking up for Amy on this one, because I have known her for several years. She has not changed. I'm telling. If you think she has changed, you are either out of your mind, not paying attention, or I'm sorry to say, maybe a bit stupid. Because it's like her opinions on politics and just the tone that she takes in the stuff that she believes has been very consistent for many, many years. And I have known her long before this show started. So if you think that, it's you who have changed. Right. You're the one who's changed.
And you're the one that's watching what conservative is to you.
Yeah, you've redefined it. Yes,
not
because
conservative.
you're following a person that you like, and that person cannot do anything wrong ever in your mind because you're so bought in. That's the problem. And Amy and I both, I think, and I'm more left and she is more right. And there's no secret there. We talk about it all the time, but I can at least acknowledge if somebody from my end is not doing something right. And so can she. We can all acknowledge that. And if you get to a point where your side is correct, no matter what, and everybody who's on that side is correct, no matter what, you are the one that needs to do a little reflection.
Well, and it's the principles of which you stand for. If you continue to stand for the same principles, but the goalposts have moved in other different directions, then so be it.
And again, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here, but when I say I'm a conservative, when I'm a classical liberal, and if that makes me liberal, then you're not a conservative. You got to know what a classical liberal is, that I'm a process conservative. And I'm like, yes, have you read Friedrich Hayek? Do you like Russell Kirk? Do you read Frank Meyer? Have you studied the Austrian school? Have you heard of any of those things? Because people who think that they're conservative but only quote Tucker Carlson, that's not conservatism. Right. That's a wacko who got popular on the right. Just because someone says they're on the right and you follow whatever they say, it's like you are an untethered flag and you are being thrown about. You're going to end up tattered in the gutter versus someone who has actual political principles, philosophical principles. And to that flagpole, that's where my flag is going to fly. In the same sense that if you think that I'm not conservative, have you read Thomas Sowell's Conflict of Visions? And have you read about the constrained and unconstrained view? And if you don't know what those are, then you're probably not a conservative.
Yeah. Well, I don't read.
It's like Seinfeld.
All those names you're saying, they all sound wacky to me.
Isn't it Seinfeld who, and I don't know if it was on the show or a stand-up where he's talking about people who say the book is better than the movie, and he's like, no, the movie's 2 hours. What do you mean? Like, the book is not better.
Big Mondan said, wow, Amy, denial ain't just a river in Egypt. You don't remember encouraging immaturity and open vulgarity of politicians and being against freedom of the press and embracing tariffs and unnecessary taxes and being pro-Russia? You don't remember that?
Well, and on YouTube, we have a couple of comments, and one says, Amy, this is TW, who says they are on the same island as you. Another, John, says, I agree wholeheartedly with you. She nailed it. More of us need to speak up. And, and there's another one who says,
is coming.
There's another one who says, goodbye. I have heard enough Trump bashing for the day. Here's another issue I have with this. And you can go do whatever you want. You can go find an outlet that is going to make you happy.
It's not far from here.
It's not far from here. Like we could throw a baseball.
We can.
You can go do whatever you want. And I want you to be happy. So if it makes you happy to go find an outlet that just tells you everything you believe is right and the person that you have voted for is amazing and never fouls up, you go right ahead and do that. But this is not bashing. This is criticism. And I don't care who the president is. And I've said this 1,000 times, and we should continue to reiterate this. Whoever the president is, on my side, on your side, on nobody's side, they are all open for criticism. If they do things that deserve to be criticized, you should do that and allow it and not be sensitive about it. I have found that people are so sensitive about this person in particular being criticized, which is insane to me because he's supposed to be a tough guy. He's supposed to be able to take it.
Well,
and guess what? That's the job anyway. Even if he's not tough enough to take it, that's the job. Being president means you get to be criticized.
In other news, you know how we always say that we measure size in the United States using anything except for the metric system, like a school bus or an elephant, like this is 5 elephants. We do that with distance. It's always throwing a baseball.
Yeah.
That's how far something is if you could throw a baseball or not.
Right. Well, and we have weird ways that we measure things, right? Because I don't know what 5,000 meters is. But I know
nobody knows what a meter is.
But I know what 10 feet is, but now then when it comes to golf, we deal with yards. But if you said to me, well, it's 100 yards out, we've got all this confusion. It's like we don't have a universal way that we do things. So dumbing it down and making it simple, like I could throw a baseball to that place, it makes it more understandable for me rather than you just say, well, it's 100 meters away. Well, okay, well, whatever.
You should measure it in football fields. How many football fields away is your condo?
Yeah, less than one. Less than one.
Hey, is this real quick?
Yeah.
Before we hit the break here, Michael.
Yeah.
You're in your you just
I'm
turned 50.
50 years
You
old.
just turned 50 months ago. Never mind. Which is the most stressful decade? Was your 40s the most stressful decade? Was it?
Yeah, I think your 40s are your most stressful decade because when you're 30, you're still you still have youth and ignorance and don't really care.
Yeah.
And then 40, life hits you. You suddenly are going to doctors and they're telling you, hey, you got this thing called cholesterol.
Mm-hmm.
Or, suddenly you're like having to think like what you're going to do someday when you're unable to work, that it's time to retire, you have aging parents, etc. I think 40s has to be the most stressful decade.
All right. That's what these statistics tell us. We talked about that earlier in the week, and that's what they say. The 40s are the most stressful decade for people.
For biological and sociological reasons.
I mean, didn't you suddenly start learning medical terms that you never even thought about? Like you'd hear people tell you about aches and pains and, I'm taking Lipitor. I thought Lipitor was, something you went and did a shot of. I had no idea that it was a piece of medicine that you needed with all of a sudden comes up when you're 40 years.
Before we hit the break, let me just say this about that. When I was in my 20s, I did not really worry all that much about health stuff. Of course, I think most people don't, until, and this may sound weird, until remember when Daryl Kyle died in his sleep. For a brief minute, that really scared me because he was 31, I believe, when he passed, or 32. And, apparently a healthy person, professional athlete, just went to bed one night and didn't wake up. He wasn't feeling well. He went to sleep, didn't wake up the next day. And that did scare me for a while because I thought, oh my God, if somebody who is just barely 30, if something can happen to him, then it can happen to me. And of course, that fear lasted only so long. But typically when you, for the most part, when you're in your 20s, you just don't really think about it.
Yeah, you just seem to know better by the time you hit 40. And so even some of the ignorant decisions you may have made and things that you used to do when you were in your 30s out of ignorance, you suddenly have a realization that this may not end well if I do this.
Michael Kelly is hanging out with us. No John Hancock today. He's at the beach.
He's at the beach.
He is out there getting sun on his belly. It's Chris and Amy show on KMOX.
Make your reservations now for the 2026 Women of Achievement Award Luncheon, presented by KMOX. The award luncheon takes place Tuesday, May 19th at the Ritz-Carlton, St. Louis, and celebrates 10 outstanding volunteers from across the St. Louis metropolitan region. Doors open at 11:15, and the luncheon runs until 1:30 p.m. Reservations are just $60 per person. Sign up and find more details now at KMOX.com/events.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Want consistent color for every job? Milo's Pro Rewards members get a 20% paint discount on future purchases after paint annual qualifying spend reaches $3,000. Plus, order eligible in-stock paint and paint supplies by 2 p.m. for free same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Improving is easy at Lowe's. Excludes spray paint and mist tints. More exclusions, terms, and conditions apply. Subject to change. Details at Lowe's.com/terms. Same-day delivery valid in select zip codes. Subject to driver availability. Details at Lowe's.com/same-day delivery.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. Certainly in St. Louis, medical doctors know the best in their field. So it's impressive to know how many local doctors have sought vision care from Craig Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer at Ophthalmology Associates. That's why they're known as the doctor's doctors. Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, and Royer are expert at cataract surgery as well as the new multifocal and light adjustable lenses. They can also discuss with you the best preventive care and the best treatments for eye allergies, macular degeneration, and glaucoma. You may know I underwent LASIK surgery at this office 30 years ago. The doctors also have an experienced team of technicians to ensure your best eye care. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles, 270 Manchester, and Sullivan, Missouri. 314-966-5000, youridoc.com.
Schedule your free tree inspection from Gamma Tree Experts now. I'm Tim Gamma. Our certified arborist and horticulturist are ready to meet you in preparation of the coming season. Winter is always hard on a lot of trees here in St. Louis. If you have a tree that you're really concerned about, let us come take a look at it for free. I'm Tim Gamma. Give me a call at 725-6159. That's 314-725-6159. Your trees deserve the best care from Gamma Tree Experts.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA, so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't hate, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm hijacking this segment right
go
now.
ahead. Are you?
So I am in the room with 3 single men who apparently have a bunch of tricks. You guys are like, you're sharing tips and tricks.
Yeah.
Like how to woo a lady. Maybe
Right.
like have a good recipe that you know how to cook.
Totally. That's important. You have to have a recipe that you can make that's going to taste well, where people can realize that you've put some time and effort behind it. And I have a particular one for Matt that is super simple. It's this pesto chicken that looks like you're doing some serious work.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it ain't that hard, and it's going to come out good no matter what.
That's what I need. I need simple stuff because I am pretty inept in the kitchen.
Yeah. But there's other tricks. I mean, you've not been tricked by a guy before, or not tricked. Maybe you didn't even realize it was a
Just
trick.
play your guitar.
There you go. That's your trick.
But don't play Wonderwall.
Actually, it's the worst.
If you
Don't.
played
No.
Wonderwall, if I was on a date and a guy played Wonderwall, I'd take the guitar and smash it over in his head like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
So part of the trick I would imagine for a musician like that is that you don't want to have the guitar out and do it. You want to have it in the corner.
That's what I do. Yeah.
So that they might be like, oh, can you play? Oh, yeah, here. And you just kind of, not a real song, but you play
Actually,
a couple of chords.
May I just interject?
Oh my gosh.
If the guitar,
Master trickster.
If you're at a party and the guitar is in the corner and it's your guitar and somebody says, hey, could you play it? Do me a favor and just refuse.
Yeah.
I hate being at a party when somebody gets out
I know
guitar.
what he
It's
should
the
do.
worst.
Say some of
It's
them, Matt.
the worst.
Matt, can
and
you
with somebody
play?
we all know here did it, and I almost smashed his guitar.
Really?
Somebody
Wait,
that we all
someone
know.
we know here?
Not here. Somebody who was in media in St.
Oh,
Louis.
really?
Oh, pulled out a
What?
guitar, and I almost had to break it in front of him.
Well, that
but it
could
was
be
his
considered
house,
douche.
so I couldn't.
Yeah, but we're talking about, say,
And
you
I
have
love the guy.
a lady over and you're going to cook dinner and you just have the guitar in the corner. I can't play music. This is not one of my tricks. But I would imagine that works perfect. And they melt. And even if you did play Wonderwall, I bet they were just like, oh, my gosh. He's
nice.
such a Renaissance
Yeah,
man.
and you have to refuse it at first. Like, play something. Like, no, not now. It's been a while. I'm not warmed up. No, soon. Okay, fine.
It would be funny if you said no, and then you're like, play it, and you said no, and then you pick it up, but you actually can't play.
Yeah. I told you no.
Here's another trick, Amy.
I'm losing it. Like Barney McFly at the end of the movie.
The books that are on your coffee table. Like, you don't want to have Maxim magazine or the Sports Illustrated swimsuit
Who has
edition
books
laying
on
out.
the coffee table anymore?
Well, humans. And so, like, you may want to have, like,
Maxim magazine.
no, you don't want to
How
do
did
that.
you
But
know?
maybe like a book that's got like great cocktails. And then you definitely want to have, like, my family when we've gone on trips, you know, they put together these little booklet of
Yeah.
pictures. That one
That
may
one.
be sitting there as well. And then maybe some art. But you
Mhm.
can't be a straight dude and just have like Sports Illustrated and, you know,
Well,
that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
what if it's only the swimsuit edition?
Yeah.
As long as it's the month that it came out, it might be acceptable. But if you have it just laying around all
And
the
also-
time, they think you're a perv.
I haven't seen a Maxim,
Well, I don't know
physical
what the heck
Maxim.
I'm
And I don't know if
saying.
they still do it. Is there a Maxim website?
No,
even?
but
I'll check it out.
like cool architecture too.
Let me.
Yeah.
that's another good-
Architectural Digest is a great magazine to have because a lot of magazines are defunct.
Yes,
And now
Maxim is still online.
Never have a flowery smelling candle either. You need
Oh,
to
yeah.
have a manly kind of
Leather,
like rose, sandalwood
Whiskey
There's
and
whiskey
type
scents.
candle,
Yeah.
whiskey. Yeah,
Get one of
'cause
those expensive Tom Ford candles.
then they're like, oh well, this dude does this when
Yeah.
I'm not here. You
Yeah.
know, so
let me just.
I think Matt's a catch.
he's
If
beyond a
he,
catch.
if he can make pesto, any lady would be just.
Well, and that's it. You can just be like, yeah, this is pesto that I had frozen. That we
Just throw it
made
together.
Yeah,
But don't say something stupid like my pesto is the besto.
I would never say that. I would say Michael Kelly taught me how to make this.
I will
You know
just tell
Michael
you,
Kelly?
Yeah.
I can't help any of you. Okay,
Why?
Like, I mean, if you want advice from me on
That's
how
because
to,
I know why.
why?
It's because you think you're so especially charming and unique that
Yes.
no one can really pull off
That's
your
right. I'm
game
like,
except for you.
I am like the Jordan of talking
He
to
thinks he's
women.
so charming.
It's,
You know how
it's
to
like I
reel
just
them in,
can't.
huh?
It's I can't teach you how to do it. I can
You should have
just
seen
do
the
it.
way you should have seen the way he flirted with Carol Daniel.
really?
Yes.
Carol Daniel.
Yeah.
No, she was in. That's because she's a happily married.
I know she
Carol's
was
a
the
nice
one that
lady.
got away, but I mean, Chris Ranji,
Hey.
you
Hey.
you worked your charm.
I did. I am a look. I am currently unavailable, but my game is excellent.
I thought you were going to say, but you
It
never
is
know, and if it doesn't
excellent.
work
You're
out,
keeping it sharp.
It is so good.
Oh
no,
my
I'm not keeping
God.
it sharp. It just will always be.
Is this you playing Wonderwall in the background?
That's Pajeski. You've broken this out at a party. Don't ever go to
Hey.
a party that Pajeski invites you
what
to.
if he says, I can't play this guitar, but I can play, and he pulls a deck of cards out of his back pocket.
It does magic.
Ew.
Oh no!
That's a good trick.
The only thing
makes him disappear. That's what it does.
this would be a good Twitter. You know what? This would be a good Twitter poll for us. Which is worse, somebody who gets out the guitar at a party or somebody who just starts doing magic in your face?
And as we close this segment, you know why I'm still single? I'm so sweaty right now.
Oh.
I'm such a sweater, and it's so hot in here. I feel so sweaty.
I'm about
All
to
right,
pull
Mike.
off my best trick. I'm going to vanish.
Yeah.
See, you're so good. See you, Copperfield. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door. Let my friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage door and opener. The work is guaranteed, and it's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. No extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, since 1926, 100 years. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-885-3100. 800-885-3100. 800-885-3100.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
It is 10 o'clock. We've got mostly sunny skies. It's already 69 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. CBS News correspondent Kelly O'Grady at the stock exchange says the government's latest monthly numbers show a loss of 92,000 jobs, while the unemployment rate rose to 4.4%.
This is a particularly bad month for manufacturing. Other months we have seen manufacturing jobs increase. So this is a snapshot in time. Overall, we have seen a push to bring jobs, but I think not at that scale that we would have expected.
It's not been a great week for Wall Street. The Dow is currently down 470.75 points at 47,483. President Trump appeared to rule out talks with Iran absent its unconditional surrender. Israeli warplanes pounded Beirut and Tehran today as Iran launched another wave of retaliatory strikes against Israel and other Gulf countries. Thousands of American travelers are stranded in the war zone. Shirley Bejarano is an American stuck in Doha in Qatar. She tried to leave on a flight to South America that had to return.
I had no idea. I had not watched any of the news or anything like that. And then I heard another fellow passenger told me, oh, they've bombed the U.S. Military bases.
Missouri lawmakers are considering a bill that would designate public bathrooms by biological sex instead of gender. The proposed legislation would require multi-user restrooms in public buildings to change their bathroom signs. It would also prohibit people from using public bathrooms that do not align with their biological sex. Single-person facilities would still be able to label signs based off gender. The bill has not yet been voted on in the Missouri House or Senate. A St. Louis County tax preparer whom prosecutors say submitted at least 15 fraudulent applications for pandemic-era Paycheck Protection Program loans has pleaded guilty to 3 counts of wire fraud and 1 count of engaging in unlawful monetary transactions. The U.S. Attorney's Office says 43-year-old Nicole Taylor got at least $1.2 million on behalf of 8 corporations, only 2 of which actually had income. She created the other companies and opened bank accounts for them solely to apply for PPP loans. Prosecutors say Taylor used much of the money for personal expenses and luxury goods. She'll be sentenced in June. From the KMOX business desk, St. Louis city officials considering expansions to the food truck industry. Alderman Rasheen Aldridge says the bill he's proposing aims to expand late-night dining options in the city by allowing food trucks to operate until 1 a.m. They're currently only allowed to do that until 11 p.m. The bill would also clarify current zoning restrictions by letting trucks operate in popular commercial areas like the Grove, Cherokee Street, and the Central West End Monday through Sunday.
Times of sun and clouds, breezy and much warmer this afternoon. High 81. The record is 85, set in 1956. Mostly cloudy, breezy, and very mild tonight, though 63. Look for a couple of drenching thunderstorms late tonight and first thing tomorrow that can produce flooding downpours, hail, and damaging winds. Later tomorrow, breezy and turning much cooler with plenty of clouds as temperatures fall into the 50s. Sunny and nice for Sunday. The high rebounds to 70. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's sunny and 69 degrees. The weather sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck, your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
So earlier in the week, we talked about, in fact, it was on Monday, we talked about the first episode of DTF St. Louis, which is the new show on HBO with Jason Bateman and Linda Cardellini and David Harbour. Yeah. And it's so far, it's so good, but it is supposed to be taking place in the St. Louis, they call them suburbs, which is kind of one of the weird parts about the show. And we went through the oddities of it from a St. Louisan's perspective. So it's not really about the plot. We're not going to talk about the plot.
It's an erotic thriller.
It is an erotic thriller. It doesn't really matter, that stuff. But I was looking at it, and I couldn't help but look at it while I was watching it from and through a St. Louisan's perspective. The way they referred to certain things like St. Louis Metro County, or the fact that they call it the suburbs and not the county, or the fact that the St. Louis County Sheriff's Building had the arch just in the background, like immediately in the background, like it was a couple of blocks away, which obviously the county is not a couple of blocks away from the arch. And the fact that it takes place in a town called Twyla, Missouri, which does not exist. So and they show Market Street, and it is not our Market Street. It is very clearly not our downtown. So not only did they not film it here, there are no establishing shots here at all. Like there's no, it's kind of hard to watch it as a St. Louisan and not think about those things while the show is going on. It is very noticeable.
They could have had a pretty nice establishing shot down our own Market Street, because with Union Station and the Arch, that is actually aesthetically one of the prettier views that we have. They do have someone who works for Purina. So there's even in the trailer, there was an actor with a Purina logo, a shirt with the Purina logo. Linda had a shirt with the Purina logo.
Linda Cardellini. She's great.
I do happen to know it's the old Purina logo. It's not a current one. And Purina actually issued a statement, which is a pretty clever statement, because it does look like Purina, did they have something to do with this? And as we mentioned, since it's an erotic thriller, it might not be something that Purina wants to associate with. So they had to say, we had no idea. We found out when you found out that one of the characters works in Purina And then they said, we believe one of the best ways to find love is to adopt a pet. And they said, that's more St. Louis, adopting a pet. So it was a very sweet, kind of clever response on the part of Purina. Well, St. Louis Magazine also looked at DTF St. Louis. And if you're wondering, do you think most people know what DTF stands for? Because I have to be honest, I had not heard the phrase or the letters, the acronym DTF until this show came out.
I would hope so, but I can't be sure.
It's a bad word, folks.
DTF means down to blank, and the F word is the one you're thinking.
Yes.
And it basically means, hey, let's do it. That's what it means.
Instead of DTFF, which is down to fish fry.
Okay.
Which is today.
Yes.
Okay. So they listed, St. Louis Magazine, several things that the show did right and several things that the show did wrong. We'll start with the right. They did say that the suburbs do look a lot like St. Louis suburbs. Jason Bateman's character lives in a place that looks a lot like Webster Groves.
Okay, let me just say something about that. You know what I'm going to say?
I think so.
Everybody's suburbs look the same, so they couldn't really miss on that.
I will say
all suburbs look exactly alike.
Yes and no, because there are what we would call distinct suburbs. I think Webster Groves, the older homes, relatively affluent tree-lined streets, that looks different than the placeless suburbs where it's just these new neighborhoods pop up. There are no trees. It's just concrete, and there's 700 houses that are all the same. That looks a little different than Webster Groves.
Okay.
That looks different than Kirkwood. So it is a hilly, tree-lined, they call it pleasantly affluent neighborhood.
Twyla, Missouri.
The court, this one is very specific, so I can't confirm. But the court documents have that Missouri look. I don't know. It seems super specific.
Well done, guys.
Yeah, they said the court documents more or less look like the same seal, which is super random. And it leads me to believe that they did that by accident. Downtown has a Market Street, as you mentioned. Here's a true one. The local meteorologist is a celebrity.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
We do love our local meteorologist. Kent Earhart he's the Tom Cruise of weather.
Yeah. I'm sure he would say the same. And I mean, they also got the call. Okay, I don't mind about call letters. It's not like they're going to get KSDK or Fox 2. They're not going to use an actual station. But the one thing we did talk about is they use a W, like WTGK, I think is what the station is called. And for those of you who don't know, any station west of the Mississippi typically has a K in front of it. Anything east of the Mississippi has a W.
Their other random one is the pool is closed. So they have the Kevin Klein Jr. Community Pool, and it's always closed.
I love that nod, though, to Kevin Klein. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. Now, here's one that's going to throw us into what they got wrong. So what they got right is that the characters play cornhole because or bags, right? Everybody knows what cornhole is. But then they said somehow the law enforcement officer investigating a suspicious death doesn't know about cornhole. And they said that's pretty unbelievable that a police officer would not know what bags is.
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, some people call it bags, some people call it cornhole.
You think they wouldn't know? How do you
I don't
not
think
know?
well, obviously you're from St. Louis. I mean, people play bags all over the country. It's not like it's not a St. Louis specific thing. You know, people play it everywhere.
They do. It's on ESPN.
So if you don't know it, I'm just saying, I don't think that would indicate to me, oh, well, you must not be from St. Louis. You don't know what cornhole is. I wouldn't make that connection.
I think they thought it was weird that they had characters playing it, but then decided the police officer wouldn't know what it is. Kind of like pick a lane. Either everybody plays it or they don't. It's either Missouri enough that you have the characters playing cornhole, or it's not Missouri enough to put it in there at all. But it was weird to have half the people not know what it is. They also said that the agency in charge is the St. Louis County Sheriff's Department, which that's not in the city. The county sheriff is pretty much only tasked with, as in the city, the county sheriff is tasked with courtroom security. The St. Louis County Sheriff's Department they don't investigate anything. That's the police.
Yeah.
So they don't know what the sheriff does. One character works at Purina National, and they're saying that's just not the name of it. It's not Purina
Maybe they
National.
Changed it up just enough.
But they kept Purina?
Yeah.
That's a little weird. The TV station offers a tornado warning for St. Louis Metro County.
Yes, that was the one,
No one
when
says that.
when they had it on the graphic on the TV station and it said St. Louis Metro County. That stuck out immediately. I thought, okay, that's not how we do it here.
We have Kelly watching on YouTube says that the tall Georgia trees look nothing like Missouri trees, which makes sense because, I mean, I haven't seen the show, but when you drive through Georgia and Mississippi, those trees are very southern looking. Is that?
I think there are certain older neighborhoods in St. Louis that kind of have that same feel. So I don't know that I totally
what are
agree
those
with that.
droopy moss trees in the South? We don't have those.
Weeping willows?
No, we have weeping willows, but there's some kind of like weird droopy moss tree in the
I'm not
South
sure.
that is very specifically
Spanish moss.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. But I think when watching the show, I think it's good and I'm invested. So I'll watch on Sunday again, but it is only from a St. Louisan's perspective. If you do watch it, if you're thinking of trying it out and you finally decide to, it might take you out of the story a little bit because you're going to be looking for St. Louis stuff.
and you're not going to see it.
And you're not going to see it. You're going to think, oh, well, there's maybe a reference. Oh, no, that doesn't sound quite right. You know, there's a lot of that nationally, and people who watch this everywhere else, they're not going to care because they're not going to know because they probably haven't visited here before. But it's, it is a weird thing when you're watching it and you are from this area.
We have a texter at 314-436-7900. We have a texter who asks, do they say washers or washers?
Well, I haven't heard them say
farty far.
I haven't heard either of those things. No.
Have they said Missouri?
Why didn't they hire us to be the St. Louis?
Us meaning like you and me?
Yeah, you and me.
Okay.
They could have hired us
Yeah.
to be the St. Louis help, you know?
Mhm.
Like what do they call it when you're, I can't even think of the word. Consultant.
Yeah.
Good
probably
Lord. I'm
why
having a
you
real
didn't
good
even
day.
know what it was.
Yeah, I mean, we could be the
We
consultants.
could be the asking people. Here's the thing. I think there's a lot of questions. I mean, I don't want to say we're heroes, like unsung heroes. But I have a lot of questions about decisions being made in this area. I mean, they didn't send us to spring training, which I
Mhm.
thought was surprising.
Really?
It was surprising.
Well,
I feel like think the Cardinals would have liked to have us there. I think Chaim Bloom probably wants to meet me. I think so. And then they didn't consult us with DTF.
No.
I can see how they maybe thought maybe I wouldn't be the best one for DTF.
Yeah,
But you
probably
for
not.
sure could make up for both of us.
Sure, why not? This message from Josh says they also said the storm was a cyclone. Never once heard of a cyclone in St. Louis. And you know what? I think that's right. I thought I misheard that when I was watching the show and they mentioned the word
I
cyclone.
thought that was like water based.
It is. We have tornadoes.
Do we have
not
river
have
cyclones?
Not that I'm aware
Our
of.
research team is at it right now. They're still recovering from the
So,
Spanish moss
You know
find.
what? I'm really glad that Josh said that.
Yeah.
Because I thought I heard that, and I guess I just blew right past it. But I thought it was strange they used the word cyclone. Anyway, the show's good.
Yeah.
I like the show. I'll keep watching it. But if you're looking for the St. Louis specific stuff, you're going to be disappointed.
Because I will say this, I haven't heard a cyclone either. The closest would be, I want to say, remember Hurricane Ike in 2010, and it hit, was it 2020 or 2011? Anyway, it was around then. It was a while ago. But when Hurricane Ike was so strong that it hit the mainland and it moved up to us, and I want to say they still called it a tropical storm when it hit us. It was something very, very, very unusual.
Interesting.
But maybe they were just saying.
But at that point, it doesn't become
No.
So it's not a severe storm when it gets here. Just I think when that happens, we just get a lot of rain normally.
A cyclone is characterized as an intense rotating storm that forms over warm tropical oceans.
Yes, so we would not ever have a cyclone here. We do not have warm tropical oceans anywhere around us.
Sometimes the River de Pere gets a little warm.
It does. And I bet the basin at Art Hill probably.
You are not allowed to play on the playgrounds after the River de Pere floods.
Is it gross?
Well, there's signs everywhere that says if this is wet, don't play on it.
That goes for everything. If this is wet, don't play on it. Chris and Amy show on KMOX. We're glad you're here today. We're glad you're here. Until 12 o'clock, then the Gas House Gang talking Cardinals baseball and more on that show, Matt Pauly and me. Jen Cease will join us at 10:30, talk a little City SC. And hey, if DTF St. Louis really wants to get it right, they're going to raise the speed limit to 75 because the state of Missouri is close to doing that. We'll discuss it. Is it a good idea? That's when we come back on KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Dreaming of college but worried about the cost? The Together Foundation is here to help. The Together Foundation is awarding 5 $1,500 scholarships to St. Louis area students who are ready to take the next step toward their future. Applying is simple, but time is limited, as applications will be accepted through March 31st. Learn more or apply at togethercu.org/scholarship. That's togethercu.org/scholarship. This community message has been brought to you by Together Credit Union.
Wait, Corey from Air Comfort Service? What are you doing in my basement?
Standing behind our work.
It's 9 p.m.
At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation, we take pride in our work. If you need heating service, no matter the time of day or night, we're here to help with 24/7 emergency service.
So you're just going to stand behind my furnace?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you hand me those paper towels then?
Absolutely. For heating service or HVAC maintenance, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
100 years of service and still at your service. KMOX.
We're going to do it, Amy. We are going to do it together. We can make things happen.
What are you talking about?
We can raise the speed limit in Missouri from 70 to 75 with a little bit of will.
Well, okay,
And-
but Ranch.
What?
We're not in the House of Representatives.
Oh, I just meant with the sentiment, with the pro sentiment of raising the speed limit from 70 to 75. And we did talk about this recently on the show, that the proposal in the state of Missouri to raise it in more rural areas is Senate Bill 1408. And if this does end up going into effect, it will take place at the end of August of this year. And so it is for rural interstates and freeways, not urbanized areas. So it wouldn't happen if you're near the city. So it's not going to go up around here. In fact, it's not even 70 near the city anyway. So that speed limit's not going to increase. But if this now goes to the House and it passes, here we go. You're all going to be able to drive a little bit faster on the highway. And aren't you excited? Because you should know that Amy Marks Coors is one of the biggest lead feet people I've ever seen.
It's foots.
You drive way too fast.
Lead-footed.
And so I've been on the highway behind you, and you haven't known I'm there, and I've seen you just, and I thought, this person who does nothing but follow the rules drives way too fast.
Some people have places to be. And you know what I don't like? I don't like all the slow, indecisive, timid Missouri drivers.
I do agree with you.
You got to get around them.
So do you agree with this, though, or not? Because
To raise the speed limit in rural areas?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because some people do say, and there are some numbers to suggest that for every 5 miles an hour, there's a significant increase in fatalities,
Yeah.
car wrecks, that sort of thing. You know what? That's a chance I'm willing to take.
And wait, but also, I do hate those numbers. Obviously, I don't want to see an increase in fatalities, but are those numbers across the board? Meaning, if you raise the speed limit in busy areas, congested areas, maybe just outside a city where the suburban area is being built up, and so you're seeing traffic because the speed limit is too fast for the area that it's in, versus a pretty rural highway, like when you're driving through Kansas, the speed limit is 75 on 70, driving all the way across the state of Kansas. And are accidents increased in that area because they went from 70 to 75? Because
I haven't seen
all
any
stretches
region
of highway are equal.
I haven't seen any region specific studies on this.
Right. Like you don't
I
want
think
to
it's
make
just
it,
generally speaking.
Yeah, you don't want to make it 75 miles an hour at 40 near 270.
Now,
you don't want that.
I would like to propose an amendment, and
Okay.
State Senator Jamie Berger from Scott County
Mhm.
is the one who has proposed this bill. So I'd like to reach out to Senator Berger and offer this amendment, and hopefully we can have it included, that the speed limit does increase from 70 to 75, but only for people who do not have a Missouri driver's license. So only people from Illinois or Kansas or people driving through are allowed the extra 5 miles an hour. But because the folks in Missouri who learn to drive in this state don't know how to drive very well, I think, first of all, you in Missouri can't even handle 55, let alone 75. So I think that if you have a Missouri driver's license, the speed limit should be decreased to 65.
It's gonna be such a mess to enforce.
I know. Well, you're going to have to indicate on your car what your driver's license is. That's the only way that we can get through this.
Maybe we could all put. You remember how window flags were a big deal?
Yeah.
Where you'd roll up your window and it'd be
yeah.
a Blues flag or a Cardinal. Maybe, red is Missouri,
Yep.
blue is Illinois, yellow is Kansas.
Yep.
And you have a different color flag.
Yep.
And what if each lane was assigned a color? Like the blue lane, the red lane, the yellow lane.
Well,
I think we're getting somewhere.
I think we are really, now we're cooking with gas, baby.
Now we are cooking with gas. Also, why do you think a Subaru Outback doesn't let you set cruise control higher than 90 miles an hour?
Have you tried it?
For sure not. No, but I just...
And wait, hold on. I didn't even know that was a feature. Is that... So
Cruise
your car
control?
will not let you... No. I didn't know that it can limit that.
Neither did I.
So you've tried...
Well, I'm just saying...
What did you try to set it to? 95?
Hypothetically, if I tried to set it to something, I probably would have tried to set it at 92.
And so I've never heard of this.
Neither
So
have
what
I.
does
I
it
thought
do?
my cruise control was... I would have thought my cruise control was broken because I was in Kansas, and that's boring. And there were no cars around.
Wow.
I know. And so the cruise control, I don't know why, but I was going to set it at 92 for a hot bit, and it wouldn't take, for lack of a better term. I couldn't get the cruise control to stick, but it's stuck at 90. And I realized, by golly, it won't let me set the cruise control higher than 90.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Neither did I.
That's
you should go
interesting.
try. Everyone should try this.
No, don't try
it.
it. Do not.
Do not try this.
No, especially if you've got that Missouri license.
Do not try
I
this.
told you not to. This texter says the speed limit of 70 is high enough. If it goes up to 75, that means people may drive 85 to 90. That, my friend, is correct. Because you're always going to push it. I told you my rule of thumb, and we had an officer, I think, was it a highway patrol who maybe texted in when we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago? I like to keep it about 8 miles over the limit. If I'm on the highway, if I'm like in the 7 to 8 mile range over, they're not going to mess with you. typically. And we did have I think it was a highway patrol person who said that, yeah, that's about right. That if it's not, as long as you're not 10 over, they're going to let you go. Now, do not take that as gospel.
Yeah.
Because if you get pulled over and you're going 7 miles over the limit and get a ticket, don't get mad at me. I'm just saying,
I also feel like
generally speaking, you're probably okay.
I also feel like if you take your plates off, you'll be good. Take your plates off and speed. They seem to be the ones that have no problem whatsoever.
Don't do that.
If you
either.
follow one law, they expect you to follow all of them. But if you eschew the laws and you rip the plates off your car and drive at breakneck speed, you're going to be okay in St. Louis. Of course, don't do those things. So I will say, I will never do this again. I will never do this again. This was years ago.
Okay.
But I did leave Topeka, Kansas one time at, I think it was 3 a.m.
So you're telling me you were in Topeka, Kansas?
I was in Topeka, Kansas.
Wow.
And
sounds awful.
I wanted to get to coffee in St. Louis by a certain time. And it was like 4 hours and 45 minutes, something like that. I could be off, but this is the story. And I cut 42 minutes off the Google Drive time. But I was white knuckling, and I will never do that again. And it was immature, and I was wrong. And I've learned my lesson.
How long ago?
It was a while ago.
A couple months.
No, years. It was years ago.
Sure.
But I will never do that again because it was wrong and irresponsible. But there is a high that comes with beating the Google Maps time.
I would agree with that. And here's a message from a 314. It says, I got my driver's license in Illinois and moved to St. Louis. Where does that leave me?
That's a great question. See, this is why it's not as simple as it seems.
Well, since we're in this era now where you have to carry your birth certificate around with you forever, you should also have to carry your they must give you some sort of proof.
Birth certificate.
Do they give you a thing when you
I
know they give you your license,
See,
but don't they give
guy-
you paperwork when you get your driver's test?
This guy said his speed limit in Michigan was 80. He said his cruise control at 87 and had no problem. I know. It's 90 and over.
There you go.
Try 92. Don't try it. Don't try
Stop
92.
telling people to speed. Let's talk a little City SC. They have yet to win a game. 2 games. They've got a loss and a tie. And we are going to talk to Jen C., City SC broadcaster, next on KMOX.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Glover Show, trying to explain The Glover Show. So when I was a younger man, I used to go to happy hour almost every night, and I loved it. And I've always thought of my show as being like happy hour. It's always interesting. It's often silly, but not always. You know, there are real things to talk about amongst friends, politics, and personal things. So that's what it is, really. It's happy hour for thousands of us every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. And I hope you'll tune in and join the happy hour.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
It is very sunny out there, 71 degrees, breezy and warm, a high of 80 tonight. Cloudy, warm, becoming breezy late. Could be very heavy thunderstorms with flooding, downpours, hail, and damaging wind gusts. So watch out for that. A low of 63. Weather sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door. Let my friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage door and opener. It's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Schedule online at overheaddoorstlewis.com.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This is an important message for anyone struggling with $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or personal loans. Due to ongoing inflation, job loss, and the rising cost of living, many Americans are facing overwhelming credit card balances. If you're drowning in credit card debt, you may qualify for powerful debt relief options currently being offered by National Debt Relief that can significantly reduce what you owe. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a debt consolidation loan. You could qualify for this debt relief option and only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe. Act now to see if you qualify. With thousands of 5-star reviews online and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, National Debt Relief has helped over 1 million consumers with their debt that qualified for this relief option. So don't wait. Call the Debt Reduction Hotline now. Dial 800-428-5757. 800-428-5757. That's 800-428-5757.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Open the door to big savings at Menards. Mastercraft has been making high-quality doors for more than 50 years. Choose from our huge in-stock selection or design your door your way with our free step-by-step design program. And get your new door in 7 days or less. Save big money on Mastercraft doors. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Rush Hour Sports, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here.
Bernie Nicholas joins Rush Hour Sports tonight at 5 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Your final score, San Diego FC 2, St. Louis City 0.
Getting real sick of this crap. City SC with a loss and a tie to start the season. I need some wins, dang it. And maybe that will happen very, very soon. At least we hope. They will host Seattle tomorrow night at 7:30 at Energizer Park. And we have Jen Cease with us, SC broadcaster on Y98. You can listen to the games there. And you can listen to Jen Cease with us every Friday at this time. Hello, Jen.
That was the best. Really good pump me up intro music, and then I'm sick of this crap.
Jen, what the hell is going on? We're like, this is going to be so fun.
Yeah.
And then, Jen, what are you doing over there?
Me or her?
It's just 2 games. It's just two games. That's it. I mean, we got 32 more games.
So wait,
hopefully more.
Listen, I have a little bit of PTSD from the Blues and from the Cardinals.
Fair point. Okay.
So when
First of all,
can I panic?
It's still I think it's still TSD because not post yet. Season's still going.
Oh, you're right.
You're still
it's just
having
in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Do we panic now?
Yeah, let's not rehearse failure, right? That's the saying.
Well, that's a good saying. I need to write that down.
There you go.
I think I had it wrong. I had rehearsed failure.
Yeah, I'm really good at it. So I'm really good at doing the thing you're not supposed to do. But yeah, for sure. City, that was a rough go in San Diego. I can't say that honestly it was surprising. We all know how San Diego was going to come out, and they did exactly what we expected. They have some fantastic players, and they move the ball with precision and pace. Honestly, they do a lot of the things the way City wants to do it. There's a few differences, but if you look at San Diego and you go, that's how we want to see City move the ball. That's how we want to see them activate. We want to see that kind of momentum. That's what we're aiming for, something like that.
So this team is new. I mean, not everybody, but there are some new faces. There are some subtractions. Klaus is gone. That's the biggest one. Obviously, new head coach.
Boy, he's having himself a time. Klaus was
yeah. So why is that?
Goals right left.
Okay, well let's talk about that. Is it a matter of system? Is it a matter of talent around him? Why is that happening? Or is it just it's only been a couple of games and so this is a bit of a fluke?
Yeah, no, I think it's exactly, Chris, everything you just said. It's probably the system that they play has something to do with it, but it's largely players around him, in my opinion, because Klaus is that kind of play. Jacques Klaus has never made any bones about the fact that he wasn't the guy that was going to take it in from the middle of the field and get on in there all by himself and do it. He's a guy who plays off of people. And you could see some of that when he was working with Nico Gioacchini in the first year, later when he was able to work a little bit with Cedric Teuscher and Marcel Hartl. But I think a lot of the inconsistency, there are times that we paired him with Simon Betcher, and although they're wonderful friends off the pitch, it didn't really work that great on the pitch. So, yeah, he's surrounded by Gabriel Peck, Joseph Paintsel, people who are able to do that kind of heavy lifting down the sides. And then Klaus is able to do, he doesn't have to focus on defense because they've got that short up. And then what Klaus can do is find those places to just get open, knock off the ball. He's a big guy. He can hold guys off of them. And then he's for a big guy, he's really sneaky and find those spaces. And he came up big. I'm not surprised that he's successful with who he's got around in the LA Galaxy.
I know, I think it was last week, we asked you, when do you know what kind of team you have in City SC? And that it takes a while, right? I mean, it could take weeks and weeks or months. But after you've seen the first two games, what are some adjectives that come to mind, or what kind of descriptions come to mind for at least the type of game they're playing?
Well, that's a great point. And here's the hard part about answering that question. I'm not trying to dodge it. I'm just going to say there were two completely different opponents. So Charlotte plays nothing like San Diego. I think a better comparison is going to be when we play Seattle this weekend. Seattle's going to play a little bit more like San Diego. Charlotte kind of sits back. They're like, let's have the ball. We'll try to pick it off. We'll absorb the pressure. They got St. Louis and Tim Ream. They've got a pretty strong defense. Their goalkeeper came up big, little Roman Berkey-esque like. And City was able to really say, this is how we want to play the game and go at them. Well, San Diego said, not in our house. We're going to take the ball. We're going to go right down your throat 3 minutes in, and we're going to set the tone, and we can do that. So City faced two opposite ends of the spectrum opponents, in my opinion. I think a better comparison is how they're going to handle Seattle, because that's going to be a little bit more like San Diego in terms of what Seattle wants to do. So it's a hard thing to do when you compare going up against two totally different styles of play. Now, that said, yes, fair question is what do you see right now? Well, what I saw was in the game where we didn't have a lot of pressure, you got to see how good City can be. And that's the thing, though. Can you repeat it when you're under a lot of high pressure against really air pressure team that is composed on the ball? And right now, the answer is no. City did not respond well to that, at least not at the beginning, and they weren't able to recover. I did like the fact, I agree with you on DeMay. I really like the fact that the team kept pushing, kept trying, but they have to work on finishing, of course, in front of the goal. And Roman Berkey, stood on his head like he always does. It's great that he can do that, but we also have to figure out a way to not have him do that all game long.
Jen, when you're looking at the best teams in MLS, what do you focus more on? Their specific style of play, saying this is how we do our offense or whatever based on our skill level, or their ability to adjust and adapt their game to who they're playing?
Ooh, that's a great question. Probably the latter. I mean, I love to look and, of course, watch somebody and say, okay, this is how they're trying to do it. And, of course, if they do it well, that's fantastic. But I do think the most successful teams bring their style, they execute it at a high level, and then if it doesn't work, or if the other team has figured something out, just as you said, they are able to flex and adjust. And I think right now, under Yohan DeMay, the St. Louis City is still learning. He's pretty much talked about that. Roman Berkey talked about that yesterday as well in the press conference, that the guys are working hard and they're still trying to figure out how to adjust to, one, a new system, and two, taking that system and facing different opponents and knowing how you're going to plug and play players. Are you going to stay in the same formation? Are you going to try to stick to the game plan or adjust? So I think the second one, the ability to adjust to opponent, for me, is the most important.
You mentioned Roman Berkey, who is, as you said, standing on his head, and they're trying very hard to find a way to not have it be an all-out assault on him all the time. So if you are a goaltender in this league, and that's how it feels, where you are under assault, and it is happening every single game, and you're not really getting a break. I mean, relative to, other soccer goalkeepers, do you start to resent your team? Like, how does that start to filter into the way a goalie views his role and the rest of the team he's playing with?
Yeah, that's a question. As I was never a goalkeeper, I played goalie one time in second grade, Benton City Park, and the ball bounced over my head, and I thought that was a really stupid thing to do.
Okay.
I did not like that position. So I only played it once, so I can't speak as a goalkeeper. I can speak as a player who was yelled at by her goalkeeper. So I can tell you what that sounds like, and it is not fun. And so we've seen, I think, over the 3 seasons of the first team play, of course, he was around in the city 2 days, but I think we've seen Roman really grow and change with the team that's in front of him. And I think you're right. I think that when you see things constantly being let down and you have to stand on your head, surely we like to play his highlight saves. Those are great. But at some point in time, you can see him on the pitch getting pretty, frankly, pissed off and calling guys to account. Now, he made what I thought was a really interesting comment in yesterday's press conference. He talked a little bit about the fact that I feel like he started talking and then maybe regretted started talking, but then he finished his thought, was that this year he feels like that this coaching staff has such a high standard. In other words, they're very demanding, that he doesn't feel like he has to make sure the field players are working hard. And I thought that was really interesting because I think when you get to the pros, you think about pros and you think, oh, they don't have to learn anymore. Oh, of course they always work hard. Well, maybe not. And if Roman was feeling like at trainings, at practice, or maybe even probably not on game days, but you know that practice feeds game days. So if at practice, he's feeling like there's not 100% effort, we're just kind of sloughing things off. He feels that extra pressure, like he's got to motivate that. And I think in some ways we saw over 3 years, Roman, got pretty negative at times, and I can't say I blame him. So it was interesting for him to say in the press conference yesterday that he feels like this coaching staff is doing those things. So Roman doesn't have to worry about it. He knows that the team is going to be held to account if they're not working hard. So he's going to focus on himself so he can then do the other things you do as a leader and not say, hey, you got to work hard.
Are soccer goalies, like goalkeepers, are they as weird as hockey goalies, goaltenders?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think, when you cross the sports, and I don't know all of them, but I feel like they're a very special kind of person that plays goalkeeper in anything. I think it's a catcher in softball and baseball. They're also weird. Catchers are. They're a completely different breed of athlete. So I would say in some ways, I don't know hockey goalkeepers.
Yeah.
I think soccer players probably keep more of their teeth, but I do feel like that's definitely, you have to have that mindset where, hey, I want to jump around the entire game and fall on my body, and this is great. Maybe I hit my head on the post, and that's a whole lot of fun.
Right. Or have everyone blame me.
Yeah. And it is. I'll tell you what, when I used to, in my previous life, I worked with young players on performance mindset, like how do you control your mental game during a game. And it's goalkeepers, at least in the game of soccer that I talked to, that really felt that inordinate, pressure of, I let the team down. The ball got through me, and it's like, whoa, it also got through 10 people in front of you. So the ball always starts at midfield. So I would be calling those people to account. Do occasionally goalkeepers come up short? Of course. But in general, I think you have to have that ability to say, it got to me somehow. I'm going to do my best to keep it out of the net. And if I do my job, it's a collective at fault. It's not just on me.
Will Roman Bürki talk on game days? I know there are some NHL goaltenders that if they're starting, they're in the starter's net. They don't talk to the media before a game, but there are others who do.
It's like a starting pitcher.
Kind of interesting that both Jordan Binnington and Joel Hofer, they talk to the media on game days when they're starting. A lot of goalies don't, but they do. Is it like that in soccer?
Yeah, we only get them in terms of like one-on-one interviews or pressers. We only get them during the week. I was kind of actually surprised that they picked Roman on Thursday because we kind of had him recently on media day. So I just in terms of there's a lot of other players to talk to, but not on game day as far as I know. I don't think he does a whole lot. Players don't do a whole lot. Coach DeMay might be the only person that Dale Schilly gets to kind of talk to close to game day. So typically no, but again, he did speak on Thursday and that was pretty soon after the fact that he also did media day a few days ago. So it might be one of those things that we're able to hear from Roman a little bit more often this season. And we should, because he's one of the team leaders along with Marcel Hartle.
All right, Jen Cease, tomorrow night, 7:30. The Seattle Sounders are at Energizer Park. It is the third game of the season for our city team. You'll be on the broadcast on Y98, and we will be listening in.
7 p.m. Join us.
We will not talk to you next week because we've got Billikens basketball. Yeah, Billikens basketball happens at 10:30 a.m.
I'm not going to be in the country, so
oh, well, never mind
great
then.
Show.
Oh,
What perfect timing.
great timing.
I'm going to St. Thomas, and I hate to tell everybody, I ain't watching any soccer during that time.
All right, good for you.
Oh, have
Good for
so
you, Jen.
much fun. Oh, that's amazing.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you. Jen
Bye.
Cease, she is on the broadcast. Tomorrow, 7:30 is when the game gets started. City SC, Seattle Sounders, a lot of S, all that alliteration.
Seattle Sounders and City SC.
Against the Snakes.
It looked like a snake. It sounded like a snake.
Did you see this? Next on KMOX.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100. And I'm telling you, I was ecstatic, could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did, they gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there will be plenty of surprises. Mac Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals. KMOX.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
100 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors. A century of trust in St. Louis. Always look for the iconic red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for same-day repair service and no extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Trust your friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorstlouis.com.
If you're getting close to retirement, or maybe you're just thinking about retirement more in general, you're probably thinking about, when can you retire? Will you have enough money to live on? You know, we all have retirement questions that, let's be honest, they're overwhelming and just can stress us out. But Steve Aul can help answer those questions so that you'll feel more confident about this next phase of your life. Check out his show, The Aul Financial Hour, Saturday mornings at 10 and Sunday evenings at 6 here on KMOX.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
You know, the United States State Department is telling Americans to leave the Middle East. They're evacuating Americans from various countries in the Middle East. Well, the New England Patriots plane has been used to evacuate some Americans from the Middle East. Not a lot of details, but the State Department shared a photo of Americans in the Middle East boarding this plane, and it appears to be a New England Patriots plane. It's red, white, and blue, and it has the New England Patriots painted all over the side of it. And the plane landed safely in Washington, D.C. this morning. And a State Department official said the flight was entirely paid for by the State Department. The New England Patriots organization were not involved in this flight.
Oh, well.
But as you can see here, maybe you can just charter their plane during the off season, which kind of makes sense, right? If you have a team plane that's not being used for months on end, is it normal to charter it out? Maybe.
Well, I guess you could use it and make some money off it. I would
might
think
be
so.
Better for the plane. Aren't you not supposed to leave your car in the garage for 8 months? I bet you don't want to leave your plane in the hangar for 8 months.
Probably
I bet you
don't.
Gotta have someone take it out and drive it around.
So there are only 2 teams in the NFL with a team plane. That is
really?
one of them. And the Arizona Cardinals are the other.
I actually didn't know that.
I didn't either until recently, but they have a
So wait.
Boeing 777 that they purchased in 2021.
So then all the other football teams just charter 747s
Yeah,
or whatever?
that's like most, like all professional teams for the most part just charter.
To be completely honest, because there's so much money in the NFL, if you asked me for $1 million, do most NFL teams have their own plane? I would have said yes.
Well, it's funny you say that about
I would
franchise
have just thought that.
franchise valuation because Sportico put out their league averages yesterday of what a typical team or an average team is worth in all of the professional leagues. The NFL, of course, is number one. NFL teams are valued on average at $7.13 billion. So the average team is worth just over $7 billion. NBA teams are $5.5 billion on average. F1 is 3.4, and that is in front of baseball. Baseball teams on average are worth about 2.8 billion. Soccer in general, 2.3. The NHL, 2.1. MLS is at $767 million. So those are on average how much teams are worth in each of those leagues. But NFL teams dominate. By a lot.
So if you are flying an NFL team, which is a big roster, that's a lot of people, plus the coaches and the staff. Obviously, you need a big plane. But also, if you have an NFL team, let's say you're flying 100 people. Those 100 people would probably weigh as much as 200 regular people, right?
I guess.
It doesn't matter.
I guess.
You have an entire offensive line. I know America is a big country, right? We're big people. We're tall. We're big. A lot of us are overweight. So we're big people. But you have an offensive line, a defensive line. You have a football team. My guess that flying 100 football people is like flying 200
I don't know
regular people.
I'm not sure that's how that works, but maybe.
We need a pilot to call in.
A typical, according to quick search, a typical traveling party for an NFL team is between 175 and 220 per road game. So that's why they have multiple buses.
220.
So they have multiple buses drive to the arenas from the hotel.
So
or
that's like
to the stadiums.
500 people, the weight of 500 people.
Well, they're not all big. A lot of guys are pretty small. You got a lot of 5'11" dudes. Not everybody is 6'5" and 300 pounds. So did you see, and I know you know, that the GoFundMe page for our guy, Sheriff Alfred Montgomery, has been started for his legal funds.
Yeah.
They're looking for $16,000. The donations have gone up.
I thought you were going to say they've gone down. I was like, I didn't even know they could go
I don't think
down.
you could take the money away. Yesterday, he had $485 in donations. Today, it's all the way up to $505. So somebody chipped in $20 since
I bet
yesterday.
it was because of our show.
It must have been. Wishing the best for Sheriff Alfred Montgomery and his legal defense. It is hour 3 of 3 coming up next, and anonymous bettors cashed in on prediction markets right before the United States was involved in a military campaign against Iran. Doesn't seem right. Something a little fishy about that. We're going to talk to Kate Nibbs, who is a senior writer for Wired. That is next on KMOX.
When it comes to your hearing, you deserve expert care. At the Audiology Center, you're treated by certified audiologists Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Adam Foss, and Dr. Bailey Campbell, meaning 8 years of advanced education, clinical expertise, and a commitment to best practices.
Charlie, we offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so you get what's best for you. Every patient receives individualized testing, precise fittings using real ear measurements, and personalized programming to ensure your hearing aids perform exactly as they should. And our care doesn't stop once you leave the office. We're committed to helping your hearing aids last through ongoing adjustments, maintenance, and long-term support at no extra cost. Better hearing is personal, not one size fits all. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com. And let's take that first step together.
Larry Older here. Let me share Brian's story from Alabama, my mom's home state. He tells us after taking Relief Factor for just 3 weeks, at least 90% of my pain is gone. My pain has started to limit me at work and at home, and now I'm amazed at how much relief I've gotten, end of quote. These are Brian's own words, and they speak volumes about what Relief Factor can do for you. I've told you about my buddy Tom, an avid golfer out on the green almost every single day. He says without Relief Factor, he wouldn't be able to swing freely because of shoulder pain or back pain. But since taking it, he said he stayed active, comfortable, and confident in his swing. He is a scratch golfer. That's why I encourage you to try Relief Factor yourself and see what it can do for you. Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. 800-4RELIEF, 800 the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
Hey there, it's Kevin Wheeler, and I'm joined by my friend and St. Louis real estate expert, Gloria Liu, your home sold guaranteed realty. And Gloria, everyone knows you for your guaranteed sold program, but you also help your sellers get multiple cash offers, right?
That's right. Some sellers are looking for speed, certainty, and to avoid repairs and open houses. I just helped a family in December to sell their parents' estate. They chose me because I offered 4 cash offers at our first meeting, which gave them options picking the best cash offer, whether it's multiple cash offers or my guaranteed sold program. My sellers are always in control to sell fast and for the most money. It's my guarantees and my buyers in waiting program that set me apart from other realtors.
If you're ready to make your move without the hassles, guaranteed, then call Gloria Liu right now at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 11 o'clock. We have sunshine. It's 72 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. CBS News correspondent Matt Gutman is in Tel Aviv and says the U.S. is already trying to strategize how the Iran war might eventually end.
CENTCOM has built multiple off-ramps for this war, ways to sort of end it and be able to say, hey, this is what we accomplished if President Trump at any given point in time decides, hey, we're going to call it quits. So there is a readiness for it. I don't think that the U.S. is there yet.
That's the largest economic development in Franklin County history, is how Texas-based Provident Data Centers is calling its proposal for a data center on 613 acres of farmland in Grace Summit near Highway 100 and I-44. According to the Post-Dispatch, officials estimate it would bring in more than $50 million a year in new tax revenue, nearly 1,800 construction-related jobs, and 250 permanent jobs. Initially, Franklin County leaders tabled any data center talk for 6 months, but recently changed their minds and drafted preliminary regulations for them. That's fired up some residents and other groups who worry about light and noise pollution, water and electricity consumption, and harm to wildlife. A new report shows what the top destinations out of Lambert St. Louis International Airport are and what the most underserved are. According to the Business Journal, the top destinations from St. Louis by number of seats available are Atlanta, Denver, Chicago O'Hare, Orlando, and New York LaGuardia. The most underserved destinations are Portland, Honolulu, and Ontario. Those routes have the biggest gap between the number of people traveling there and the number of available nonstop seats. From the KMOX Business Desk, the government reports that the unemployment rate increased this past month to 4.4%, while the economy lost 92,000 jobs. Chris Viveris is regional director for the Americas Economist Intelligence Unit.
We saw losses in manufacturing, in construction, which had turned up last month, and in business services.
Economists had expected 60,000 new jobs in February. Revisions also cut 69,000 jobs from the December and January payrolls. The surprisingly weak employment picture in February adds to the economic uncertainty over the war with Iran, which has caused oil prices to surge and saddled businesses and consumers with unforeseen costs.
Partly sunny this afternoon, breezy and much warmer than recent days, the high 81. Mostly cloudy, breezy and mild tonight, though 63. There'll be a couple of strong thunderstorms around late tonight and first thing tomorrow. They can produce flooding, downpours, hail, and damaging winds. Then later tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy, and turning much cooler with temperatures falling into the 50s. Sunshine for Sunday, a nice day, the high 70. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
72 degrees and sunny right now. The weather sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Chris Ranchi, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
We spoke earlier this week about Polymarket and how a number of anonymous bettors on Polymarket made big money betting that the United States and Israel would launch an attack on Iran. Now, of course, you can bet on anything these days, but what made it so unique was that these bets were big bets that were made within hours of the strike, and that almost never happens. And you can look at the data and the graph of these accounts that were made, and people made a lot of money betting that this strike would happen, and it did. We have a lot more questions than answers, which I'm sure most people do. So joining us now is Kate Knibbs. She is the senior writer for Wired, covering prediction markets. And Kate joins us now. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Of course, there's so much going on with Polymarket. It's wild.
It's really wild. And I had, on the periphery, had heard about Polymarket. I'm not a bettor. I don't even do sports gambling. So I'd heard of Polymarket and prediction markets. But what really opened my eyes was the 60 Minutes special on Polymarket and exactly how it works and how you can bet on anything. So maybe kind of setting the table for listeners who have a rough idea of prediction markets. What is some kind of the difference between a prediction market like Kalshi and Polymarket versus a traditional gambling where you just place a bet?
So critics would say that there really isn't that big of a difference, but what these markets would say is that they are offering financial tools, derivative swaps, instead of placing a bet and then there's a house that takes money and determines the odds and whatnot. You are buying a contract, a yes or no binary contract on a future event. And so it's regulated like a commodity by the Commodity Futures Trade Commission instead of like gambling. And so, yeah, these markets are pitching themselves as forecasting tools, financial tools that just so happen to also sometimes offer sports related contracts, not bets. And their participants are traders, not gamblers. Again, that's their definition.
So, Kate, how does Polymarket or Kalshi, how do they make money?
So, a few different ways, like they take a fee. Kalshi's fee tends to be larger than Polymarket's. They also, at least for Kalshi, I'm not sure about Polymarket because it works a little differently because it's crypto, but Kalshi is a market maker, which means it provides liquidity to some of its markets and in theory would sometimes derive profit depending on how the markets go. But yeah, primarily through fees. And so that's different. Like they don't take a VIG in gambling terms. So it is different in that way.
So then how does, or is it even possible to find the folks who have made these bets ahead of a bombing campaign and who may not have made any bets before, but somehow they did, and they appear to have known something ahead of time, which is absolutely insider trading? Is there a way to find these folks?
So yes, but they're different ways because Kalshi and Polymarket, they get grouped together a lot for good reason. They're the two most popular prediction markets, but they operate quite differently. So Polymarket is like on chain in crypto terms. So you use crypto and its users are anonymous. And there's like two different entities that Polymarket runs. One is Global Polymarket, which is by far more popular. It's technically not allowed in the US, so it's not like subject to US laws necessarily. And so it would be difficult, I think, to find out who is placing bets using that side of Polymarket. There's a much smaller US centric side of Polymarket that just relaunched itself because Polymarket was banned in 2022 for a while. Just relaunched, but it's small. So the vast majority of like this insider trading that we're seeing on Polymarket is being done, technically speaking, outside of the US, and we don't know who is doing it. Kalshi, because it's like a fully CFTC regulated entity within the US and it's not crypto based, it's easier for the company to unearth who is doing trades, and they have like this whole beefed up regulation arm looking at insider trading. It was either last week or the week before that they came out saying that they'd actually caught several different cases of insider trading and alerted the CFTC about it. So we're seeing definitely more like explicit enforcement action coming from Kalshi. Like it's fining some users that it's discovering insider trading. I'm sure that there's a lot of shady stuff that's happening that they're not catching yet, but that's how it's handling things. But yeah, Polymarket, we still don't know who was making these huge profits off of the war markets yet.
Yeah.
Apparently Israel is investigating a few of the wallets. I don't know whether the US is. Seems like they should be, but we haven't really heard anything.
I think we can probably deduce why they would not. They probably know who's doing it.
I mean, when you look at the graph of bets being placed about whether or not the U.S. would strike Iran, and you just look at this graph over time and how in the hours, like it wasn't just you think they're going to strike before June. It was, are they going to strike tomorrow? And in the hours before the actual strike, new accounts were created. A bunch of accounts bet $1,000, $10,000 more than that, which feels to me like it would be super naive to assume that everything was on the up and up. And as you mentioned, so Polymarket uses crypto, so it pays out in crypto, right? Everything is crypto. So it's, you can't trace it. And then Polymarket, while the company is headquartered in New York, all of their primary operations and their servers, they're all offshore.
Yeah, and most of the trading volume is done offshore too. So if people are using VPNs a lot of times within the US to then go and use this global version of Polymarket, or they're just, one of the biggest Polymarket like whales that we knew about was some guy in France who made like a fortune off of the 2024 election. So there's a lot of international players on Polymarket.
You wrote about Mick Mulvaney, who was once working for this current president, and he has put together a group of people who are going after these prediction markets. So what do we expect to happen with, first of all, what exactly is he doing and how is he trying to get at them, and what do we expect the result to be?
Yeah, so Mick Mulvaney, Trump's former chief of staff, now is heading this like advocacy coalition called Gambling is Not Investing. And they're basically lobbying for prediction markets to be subject to state gambling laws. And as they're doing this, there are already, I believe now, 20 different lawsuits brought by states' attorneys and state gambling commissions against Kalshi, arguing that its sports contracts in particular need to abide by state gambling laws. So there is this big push to regulate these prediction markets differently, especially when it comes to sports, because a huge chunk of their trading volume right now is betting or trading on the outcome of sports. It's been interesting to see the movement to regulate these markets differently sort of coalesce, because it's not ideologically divided, maybe how you would think. It's not like a conservatives versus liberals situation. There are liberals that are lobbying for prediction markets, like the head of a lobbying group for prediction markets is a former Democratic congressman. And then there are conservatives like Mick Mulvaney and like Chris Christie and like Governor Cox in Utah, who are like adamantly opposed to prediction markets operating how they currently are. So there's definitely a rising push to get these markets regulated more stringently.
Yeah, and as we noted, because Polymarket is offshore, it's not regulated by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which does not allow listings related to war. My understanding is, but because Polymarket's offshore, they listed the Iran strike as something that you could trade, invest, gamble on, whereas other prediction markets didn't. What about like death, an assassination, the death of someone prominent? This feels like a super unethical, or at least a huge ethical issue.
Definitely really an ethical swamp. There was a huge controversy this week because Kalshi had a market on when the Ayatollah Khamenei would be removed from office. And users were furious when after he died, they didn't win if they had bet that he would be gone, because Kalshi in its fine print said, we don't resolve markets as yes upon death. We're not we don't do that. It'll resolve what it was before he died. Technically, like any CFTC regulated prediction market is not allowed to offer markets on assassination or war. So you will see a big difference when you go on Kalshi versus Polymarket. What Kalshi is offering related to geopolitics in Iran is much more limited than what you'll see on Polymarket, because again, there is a part of Polymarket that's in the US, but the big chunk is international. And that's, they actually had a market on nukes, like whether we would get nuked, and they did pull it down this week, but that was because there was just so much negative press about it. It wasn't because they were worried about the law, I don't think.
Yeah, they don't seem to be worried about much. It's just we talk about it and have used the phrase like everybody else has. There's nothing unique about this, but calling it the Wild West, because that's what this is, since it is not regulated here. What do you see happening in the next 5 years and how these markets evolve?
So we're already seeing, as part of this movement, attempting to put guardrails up, like members of Congress are already introducing legislation to put guardrails up. Yesterday, some Democratic senators put forth a bill. There was a previous bill in the House to regulate insider trading specifically. So I do anticipate there will be a drive to make legislation. Whether it's successful or not remains to be seen, obviously. I suspect the SEC may attempt to regulate some of the more financially themed markets instead of the CFTC. All of these lawsuits are happening. It's really hard to say exactly how they'll all shake out. I wouldn't be surprised if in a state like Nevada, where, the state is really reliant on gambling revenue, and gambling is a big part of the, state's identity. It might be tough for the prediction markets to come out on top there, and that might have ripple effects. But based on what I've been talking, all the conversations that I've been having with regulators and lawyers and people in the space, it could go to the Supreme Court. Like one of these cases could end up being knocked up to the Supreme Court. It's hard to predict what's going to happen with prediction markets. So I'll tell you, I really
how fun. Can't make money off it. Kate Knibbs, senior writer for Wired, is with us on KMOX. And before we let you go, I wanted to ask you about this. There was a study that came out recently about traffic to a lot of tech sites, Wired being one of them, and Tech Radar, Digital Trends, CNET, PC Mag, and even some websites outside of tech like Healthline and NerdWallet, that they have seen a massive decrease in traffic. And a lot of it is attributed to AI, where people are just getting the AI result for whatever they're looking for, and they're not clicking on stories. And this seems like it could end up being a pretty big problem, because AI, my understanding is, they are getting their answers and the results from stories that are already on the web. So if that goes away, then AI has a learning problem, right? So what do you know about this, and how dangerous of a time is this that we're in?
Oh man, well, it's never really a good time to be in media, but the way that AI is impacting traffic to websites is obviously a huge problem. It's something that we've seen coming for the past few years, though, and I think a lot of the savvier media companies and outlets are positioning themselves to basically move away from web traffic as like the linchpin of the business plan. Like if we were really focused on driving up our web traffic to then be able to place digital ads, I think we would be screwed. Wired, and then our parent company Condé Nast, more broadly, we've been really focused on positioning ourselves as like subscription-based businesses, and not just subscriptions, but pursuing a wide variety of revenue streams, because we knew this was going to happen. I think they're calling it the traffic apocalypse. But it's been pretty clear that AI would cut into the readers that we were getting, who were just, Googling questions, and then a Wired article would come up. We can't rely on that as the central pillar of our business plan. But again, I'm just a writer, so I'm definitely not in charge of our business plan.
Sure.
But yeah, so there is, companies are going to need to pivot to survive, certainly. And luckily we've already been doing that. And, they just, web traffic as a revenue driver is definitely going away.
It is difficult to think of an area that artificial intelligence is not going to affect, and in a negative way. So we hopefully it doesn't get too bad, but I have a feeling it's going to for all of us. Kate Knibbs, it's great to talk to you again. You're always great. We appreciate you. Thank you for being with us again today.
Of course. Thanks.
Kate Knibbs, senior writer for Wired, with us on KMOX. That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. Scott Jagow's got three good things roaming St. Louis. He will be with us at 11:30, a little different time for Scott, Buffalo Bills fan. Can't wait to discuss things with him on KMOX.
When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for: their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. Magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. legacybox.com/value.
When you've been injured in an accident, hurt on the job, or in a medical mishap, there are many reasons to call Morgan & Morgan. But here's reason number 5. We try more cases than anyone in America by a wide margin. We are on approximately 150 dockets a week and win a lot. Go to forthepeople.com to see our verdicts and results. I believe our results give you the best chance of a fair, fast, and just settlement. Insurance companies know who we are by reputation. Imagine me doing this ad if it wasn't true. They would be laughing. Trust me, nobody is laughing. Their employees and adjusters often hire us when they're hurt. They know, and now you know. All law firms are not alike, not even close. With over $30 billion collected for our clients, we became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to rbastl.com.
Midwest winters take a real toll on your garage door. Let my friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis come out and perform their 26-point tune-up on your garage door and opener. The work is guaranteed, and it's just one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. No extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, since 1926, 100 years. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Still here, still trusted. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
You know, every time we do the question of the week, I feel like we could have worded it better. So this question...
So you mean every time we do it, Matt could have done a better job?
I have a distinct memory of us in the talent office before the show, and these were the words that Ranji used.
Question of the week.
In our poll.
Do you make decisions based on gas prices? I feel like it should have been, does the price of gas affect your driving habits?
I think it says the same thing.
Well, because this guy said it doesn't affect his fantasy baseball decisions, but it does affect other decisions.
Well, that's the point. That is why...
You did not make this question ironically.
That's
what you're trying to pull over
the
our
question of the
heads.
week on our Twitter account at Chris Amy KMOX is that exactly. Do you make decisions based on gas prices?
Yeah.
You know, driven out of your way for cheaper gas or driven less as prices have gone up, etc. So it's very clearly defined what we're talking about.
Yeah. I would have said, does the price of gas affect your driving habits?
I think we're getting the same results. So
maybe not.
We had a number of respondents, and the answers were yes or no. Either you don't take that 4-hour trip to Kansas City, or you don't go out to the western part of the county because you just don't want to pay for gas because it's like $3 a gallon now. I'm not going to pay for that. Or do you just not pay attention at all?
Yeah.
And so that was the question. Does it affect your behavior at all? And 60% of people, Amy, say no, they do not make decisions based on gas prices. 40% say they do.
Higher or lower than you thought?
I thought yes would be a little higher.
Really? Because I do feel like there are some decisions that the price of gas can affect, like you said, maybe am I driving out to go see my parents? Am I going to go to Tom Sock Mountain? Or no, because it's kind of a long drive. But there are other decisions that it can't, you would think, really affect. You got to get the kids to school. You have to pick up the kids. You have to go grocery shopping. You have to go to work.
Yeah.
Maybe it affects where they get their gas.
Or I guess we could have asked, do you cut down on driving because of it? That would have been another way to ask. But I think it's, people know what we're getting at. And I'm still a little surprised that number wasn't higher. I thought it would be closer to 50-50. That half the people say, well, I'm not going to go to this place because it's a little more expensive to get there and gas costs me more. I know this. I rarely. Here's what I think about it. If I get a full tank and I see the price at the end and go, "Oh, that's a little higher than I thought," but it doesn't really change what I do. I don't say, "Well, I'm not gonna go here. I'm not gonna go visit so and so, or I'm not gonna take this trip." It doesn't really affect that.
So that's exactly it. I am usually surprised because I'm not a great planner. I'm not organized. What does that mean? It means a lot of times I get in the car and I think, "Oh my gosh, I have zero gas."
I think I'm there right now.
It's dashed out. You know, it doesn't even say I have 10 miles left. It's dashed out. So I have to roll into the nearest gas station. And then when I fill up the tank and I go, whew, like, whoa, I was not expecting it to be that high.
Now, one thing I might do is if I am making a judgment of do I drive, say, to Chicago or do I take the Amtrak, I might go, well, gas is going to cost me this much, so I might as well just take the train.
Joe Biden over there.
What?
You. Didn't your friend call you Joe Biden because you love trains so much?
I don't know. Does he like trains?
This is when I get gas. He always gaslights me. All the years we've been together, this is what he always does.
I don't remember the train
He
thing.
gaslights me. Yes, your friend was like, "Oh, hey, Joe Biden, you told me the story."
I don't remember
He tells
it.
me stories, guys.
I can't remember everything.
This guy does this. You're married long enough, and this is what happens: is he tells me stories when you all aren't listening, and then I come on the air and I am trying to be a partner, be a teammate. Like, hey, remember, Ronj, when your friend called you Joe Biden? What?
Listen, I'm legit.
I don't remember this. He
So
gaslights
I'm making
me.
you sound crazy.
Yes.
I'm not. I swear, I
Are
don't
you
remember this.
He's doing.
I
think
really
you're-
don't. I swear to God, I don't remember this.
Matthew, this guy
Do you
does
remember
have
this?
an issue. Does he not have an issue?
I don't specifically remember that story.
I'm trying to think of what friend it
but
would be.
It could. I think both of you guys do it, as you just demonstrated with the phrasing of the question of the week. When we
First
were
of
all
all-
in the same room and agreed, yes, this would be a great question of the week.
Yeah, but we just like to blame you.
And you don't count. Stop talking.
Yeah, keep your mouth shut.
yeah, turn your microphone off.
He's getting bullied again. Poor guy.
It doesn't say the Chris and Amy and Matt show.
Yeah, shut up, Matt.
Unbelievable.
Have you said thank you once?
For what? Screwing up the poll.
How many the gas prices would you make a decision based on the gas? What? What are you talking about? This
I do not
guy.
remember. I swear to you, I do not
This
remember
is-
the Biden thing. And I
Yes,
can't
because
remember
it was
the
funny
friend.
and you laughed. This is unbelievable. You just
I,
give me
can't, I
all
just can't remember. I just can't. I'm not lying to you. I just don't remember. But I do love trains. Sometimes the Amtrak can be a little cleaner,
Ugh.
but I like it. I like it. It's not that much longer to ride the Amtrak than to drive. It's like an additional 45 minutes or an hour. It's great. And you can just you can try to saw them off. You can take a little nap. You can read.
Saw 'em off.
Saw them off. Saw off the logs. Sleeping.
Oh, saw him off.
Yeah. It's good.
I don't know. I don't care anymore.
I love the Amtrak.
I've been gaslit and I'm sick of it.
I love the Amtrak, buddy. I love the Amtrak. What's the thing you
That's
used
the
to say?
only reason you voted for Joe Biden.
What's
You're
the-
pro-train. What?
What is the thing that he used to say? He's always so folksy. What was his big folksy
Oh.
thing that he used to say?
Malarkey.
Oh, that's malarkey.
You like folksy sayings too.
Scott Jagow hates folksy, but he is the host of Total Information AM Weekend, and he's roaming St. Louis. He's got 3 good things, and he'll join us next on KMOX.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Miklasz.
March the 26th, first game, Busch Stadium, Tampa Bay Rays at Cardinals. The first Cardinal to bat in 2026. That will be J.J. Weatherholt. So the point is, he'll be on base a lot. He has tremendous on-base skills, and I think that's what you want in the leadoff hole.
Bernie Miklasz. Hear what he has to say on the voice of the St. Louis Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Currently, it is 74 degrees, very sunny, and a little humid. I heard it's going to keep getting more humid. A high today of 80. Tonight, cloudy, warm. It will be breezy. Could be some heavy thunderstorms, which could bring flooding downpours, hail, and damaging wind gusts. So watch out for that. A low of 63.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here for the FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX and my official sportsbook as well. Look, if you're a basketball fan, Friday nights just got a little louder because NBA Happy Hour is live on FanDuel. So every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 5 to 6:30 here Central in St. Louis, FanDuel's running limited time specials to pregame your weekend. So we're talking boosts, bonuses, surprises, all of it dropping right in the app. And it's the perfect way to kick off the weekend. So it's a little basketball, it's a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. So that's NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 5 to 6:30 Central Time, only on FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. You can visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to get yourself started. Must be 21 or older and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
An important message from SNL Coins. SNL Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver, silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a call to SNL at 544-3600. SNL Coins, 544-3600. Or visit SNL Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call SNL, 544-3600.
Rush Hour Sports, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here.
Bernie Miklasz joins Rush Hour Sports tonight at 5 on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
On the roll, directing traffic to the end zone. He throws, and it's DJ Moore.
DJ Moore, who is the newest Buffalo Bill. Yeah,
that kid can catch the ball.
He can if he runs the right route. You're going to love him.
I think we will. It was a good trade for both of us. You got a second rounder out of the Bears.
True.
Got a second rounder. So
Scott Jagow, resident Buffalo fan, he is with Buffalo. Sports teams have been in the news. Yesterday, they had a big news day. First, the Sabres. They tried to trade for Colton Parayko, and he said no. And then DJ Moore got traded to the Bills.
Do you think when Colton Parayko said no, he sent him that Bugs Bunny gif where his lips are going, no. And he just sent that to Doug Armstrong.
I don't know what to make of it. It could be some personal situation. He doesn't want to leave St. Louis. Although the reports made it sound like he might go somewhere else, just not Buffalo. And given their track record over the last 15 years, I wouldn't blame him. But obviously, things have turned around. Yeah. We are now tied for first in the Atlantic Division of our conference with the Lightning, who've lost 4 games in a row, and the Sabres have won 5.
I think I did hear that too as we move on, but that Parayko wanted to stay in the West. I don't know if that's true or not, but all the rumors floating around. I don't know if that's true.
How does that make you feel, Scott, that your team has been scoffed at?
It wasn't
good Lord. No, that's it.
Parayko scoffed at them.
I think that people have been scoffing at the Sabres for many years, and Buffalo in general as a city, and Buffalo Bills, because of the snow and the Rust Belt thing, and people moved out and there's nobody left, which is not true anymore.
I would move to Buffalo 100 times before I moved to Florida.
Oh, of course I would too. But the perception of Buffalo.
Yeah.
In fact, we had a kicker come in just the other day. Some guy out of college or whatever, he was trying out for the Bills. I don't know exactly what those details were, but he went on social media And he said, what the hell is there to do in Buffalo? It's just a bunch of snow. There's nothing to do here. It's terrible.
Great point.
Great idea when you're trying to make the team. And there was some grandma who gave a list of things to do in Buffalo. There's these museums and all this
The
other
zoo
stuff.
is free.
And then the other fans stepped in and said, okay, move over, Grandma. We're going to handle this. And they just went to town on this guy about how great Buffalo is and how ridiculous it is for you trying to. Yeah, we don't want you.
Wow.
That's the bottom line. We don't want you coming here if you don't want to be here.
You know, I don't mind that attitude.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair attitude. If you don't want to be here, then go to hell.
Everything that Scott just said about Buffalo, I mean, not the snow, but isn't that how people treat St. Louis?
Kind of.
Sort of.
Like, what are you supposed to do in St. Louis? Because we always say the zoo is free and there are a lot of restaurants. I mean, everything that Buffalo is saying, I feel like we've had this conversation.
In fairness, there's only so many times you can go to the zoo.
Well, you can go every day
Yeah,
if you
the
love
other
animals
museums
enough.
are free too.
That's right.
Because I remember, I don't know, there was some big sexy baseball player that they talked about the Cardinals, signing and how like
Bryce Harper, maybe.
I don't know, but they showed this incredible condo like in Florida, overlooking the beach or maybe Malibu or something, wherever it was. And people were saying that Kirkwood is the Malibu of the Midwest. Like, how are you supposed to woo a young multi-millionaire to say you're going to love
Money.
Chesterfield?
Money.
Yeah, money,
Pay him the
obviously.
most.
But it's tough. Buffalo has the same problem over the years of drawing free agents. Now that they have Josh Allen on the Bills, it's a lot easier. Magically, you have a quarterback like that, and people want to come play for your team. Previously, though, they're like, who the hell is your quarterback, and why the hell would I want to move to Buffalo, New York? I mean, that's been kind of the perception.
Yeah, if I'm one of these players, though, for any sport, my advice, well, I guess if I'm advising them, what I would say is you don't have to live there all year. You're there
That's
for the
true.
season.
But
you have training camp, you have spring training, go play your 6 months, and then you go to wherever you want. You have enough money, you can do whatever you want in the offseason.
You say that. However, Buffalo has a lure on people.
So does St. Louis in a way.
And some people here who have played here stayed here, and that's happened in Buffalo. Jim Kelly, the quarterback for the Bills in the 90s, he lives in Buffalo. Thurman Thomas, running back, lives in Buffalo. Andre Reed lives in Buffalo. They all stayed. Now, they do have houses elsewhere. They can afford to live in Florida part of the year, but their primary residence is still in Buffalo because it is a great city, and the people, they call it the city of good neighbors. It is that. So and for the Sabres, though, it's a hockey town. I know the Bills are the big team, but it has long been a hockey town, and there are a lot of former hockey players, not Sabres, who live in Buffalo.
You should call it the city of good sabers.
Good, yeah. Oh,
Lord.
that's good, actually. I
Thank
like
you.
that.
Right. So did you roam St. Louis?
I did. I roamed St. Louis, but I didn't land on anything.
Oh my gosh. That's the worst advertisement for our city. I literally looked for something and I could not find anything.
No, I had something lined
Scott.
up that fell through, so I just did not go.
Well,
Okay, well, thank
That's
you.
all right.
okay. Well, do you want to tell us what it was or no?
No. That
Okay.
wouldn't.
Do you have 3 good things then?
Did you
I've
land?
yes, I have 3
Oh.
good things, and I can't tell you, though. I can't tell you what I'm going to
Oh.
talk about.
Did you know that you
Damn
had
it.
nothing to tell us when you showed up today?
Thank
I
God.
thought we were going to talk about DJ Moore.
Thank God thank God DJ Moore got
if
traded.
this
What
guy
about
didn't
the
like the
Bar
Bills,
thing. How is that going?
Oh,
Barch Madness.
Barch
Oh, is that what you're
Madness.
calling? Okay.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Do you love it?
It's,
I don't
it's
care if you
awful.
like
It's
it or not. It's
offensive.
great.
Barge
It's stupid and offensive, like our show.
And so how is it going then?
It's great.
What do you mean? We're still taking submissions
when does
from
it
people.
start?
We're going to start it in March.
It
It's
is
March.
I know. So we're going to start it in 2 weeks. I believe the week of the NCAA tournament, we will do it to coincide.
But we
Okay.
have drawn a line that if you live in West Wentzville, that is too far.
West Wentzville.
East Wentzville's fine.
Okay.
Although we have people who are pushing back.
Yeah.
Wentzville shouldn't be included.
They don't want Wentzville there at all.
Right.
We are accepting submissions of the best bar in the St. Louis area that includes the Metro East side, and we are debating just how far west we want to go. but people are telling us, how dare you put Wentzville on the list?
Yeah, they're pretty mad.
What are the odds right now? I mean, if you just had them in your head, like, is there one or two that you think are the favorites to win, or you have no idea?
We have
Solely
a
random.
couple of top seeds, I think. We don't want to reveal that right now. That's not a good.
We have to have a whittling process, and we may have some play-in games because we have a lot of bars. People,
of course.
People are, wow, they are giving us a lot of submissions.
Do you have a suggestion? Do you have a submission for us?
I told you, the TikTok Tavern.
TikTok Tavern, I
Yeah.
believe, may have already been nominated.
I hope so. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
That Magnolia in Arkansas in South
Okay.
City.
Yeah. It's we'll have it on the list, but it may not make the tournament. Oh yeah, TikTok Tavern has been submitted.
It is a great bar, I gotta tell you. We do potlucks there. I just made soup this week for the potluck.
Okay.
Lasagna soup.
Nice.
That sounds good.
It is good.
What kind of noodles did you use?
I actually use bow tie pasta,
Nice.
which is sturdier than lasagna noodles.
You got to have sturdy noodles.
Yeah, you got to have sturdy noodles
Mm-hmm.
if you want to sit it in the crock pot for a while. So I've done quite a few soups. I did an Italian sausage soup, which was really good, and
nice.
a taco soup, which was also very good.
A taco soup.
Mm-hmm.
I like tacos and I like soup.
I love soup. I need a crock pot. I don't have one.
You don't have a crock pot?
No.
Everybody's got to have a crock pot.
I think it would be helpful for me because I'm afraid to cook chicken because I'm afraid it'll be underdone and then I'll get salmonella and I'll get really sick.
Yeah, I always overdo chicken.
I know, but if they say if you get a crock pot, you can overdo your chicken, but it stays moist because it's in a
some
crock
kind
pot.
of liquid. Yeah,
so you
of
can cook
course.
it for 8 hours so you know it's done.
All right.
Do you have a chat with Stu Mac this weekend?
Yes, I have a chat with Stu
Can you tell
Mac.
us about that one, or is it also a secret?
Or is it something you've
It's
already
also
told
a
us?
secret.
Is it really?
It is.
Oh my gosh.
For the love of God,
This guy.
Scott. So all you've done is come in here to tell us that you can't tell us anything.
Right.
He came in here thinking this
We had a
whole segment
special
was going to
trip.
be about DJ Moore.
All right, what do
I
you think of
did.
DJ Moore? Are you excited?
Yeah, I am. I want to get back to the bar thing for a second, though.
Okay.
So, do you have 64 bars or ish?
Oh, we're well
we got
over that right now. So
164.
the selection committee has to get together next week and make a decision.
Yeah,
Make
gotta
decisions.
find them.
Did you hear that there's a rumor going around or an idea of pushing the NCAA tournament to 98 teams?
Yeah,
That's insane.
I've seen 72, 78. I've seen in the
Enough
90s
is enough. We have enough now.
with 68.
Yeah, blowouts in the first round anyway, most of the time. So I am not a fan of expanding the tournament.
Yeah, I don't think I want that either.
Is it
But I
gonna-
The
do.
World Cup tournament got expanded too to 48. We're going to see some blowouts in that too.
Why did they expand it just to make more money?
Yeah, it's always about more money.
Yeah, the more people you have involved, the more
But
money
some
you
of the
make.
countries that like the on the cusp there, probably a couple of countries we've never even heard of are going to be in the World Cup.
Like what?
I can't think of them right now,
Yeah.
but that's because I don't know what they
and
are.
Tobago?
No, that team actually beat the U.S. a few years ago.
Well,
and
that's because they had both of
they
them.
knocked
They had to play both
they
of
knocked
them.
the U.S. out of World Cup qualifying.
Both of them, Trinidad and,
and
Tobago.
And they're-
Tobago or Tobago?
Who knows?
I say
think it was.
Tobago. You say Tobago, but
Let's call the whole thing off.
if you watch that game, it looked like it was played in like a middle school stadium, and the U.S. national team got beat. That was embarrassing.
Yeah, our national team. I don't know what's going on.
I think
with
they're going to
them.
be good this year.
They
Usually the
better be.
home team delivers in big moments like this.
They better. So Scott Jagow, it's good to have you come in. We appreciate you.
Why are you guys giving me such a hard time?
Congratulations. What do you mean?
Sometimes it takes some more spontaneity for these pros.
Oh, we did. We
Okay.
talked about soup,
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
did talk about
Taco
soup.
soup.
Bars, trades, sabers,
Trinidad,
Buffalo, all
and
kinds of
Tobago.
Yep.
Tobago.
We cover everything here.
Yeah.
And Scott Jagow is going to do the same on Sunday morning.
From 6:30 to 9:30.
So
Total
that's when
Information
people-
AM weekend.
That's when people need to listen to learn all the secrets that you
Yes,
didn't tell us just
there's
now.
secret programming that'll be going on.
I love secret programming.
You
Buddy.
should. It's fun.
It is fun. This was a good tease for Sunday.
Isn't our whole show secret? If you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, there you go.
All programming, secret programming.
Sometimes it's a secret for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're doing.
And if it's a secret for Matt, we hear about it in the meeting.
Yeah. He's been a real baby, hasn't he?
What?
Cut him off.
Bye, Scott Jagow.
Bye.
Scott Jagow, roaming St. Louis, 3 Good Things, and chat with Stu Mack this Sunday morning, starting at 6:30 to 9:30 on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Dreaming of college but worried about the cost? The Together Foundation is here to help. The Together Foundation is awarding 5 $1,500 scholarships to St. Louis area students who are ready to take the next step toward their future. Applying is simple, but time is limited, as applications will be accepted through March 31st. Learn more or apply at togethercu.org/scholarship. That's togethercu.org/scholarship. This community message has been brought to you by Together Credit Union.
Breakfast burritos for the morning brainstorm. Easy Cater. Paninis for the lunch and learn. Easy Cater. Barbecue for the clients from Boston. Easy Cater. Brownie boxes and mini bundt cakes for Brenda's work-iversary. Easy Cater. One simple platform to feed any size group with food they love from favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Easy Cater. All the food for your workplace, all in one place. Start an order at easycater.com.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
The Builders St. Louis Home and Garden Show returns to America Center March 6th through 8th.
Shop hundreds of local companies for home improvement deals.
Come to our amazing outdoor living space.
Find ideas, inspiration, and expert advice.
Details at stlhomeshow.com.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If snow and cold has you thinking spring, why don't you do something constructive and call Chesterfield Fence and Deck? Let this be the year that you have that beautiful outdoor space that you've always wanted. Whether you're talking about a new deck, a patio, a pergola, they do all of it. And of course, fences as well, sunrooms, screen rooms. You can visit their beautiful showroom in the Chesterfield Valley. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best since 1968. All of their products are guaranteed by a 5-year labor warranty, comprehensive material warranties provided. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Now, if you're looking for the rock bottom cheapest price, Chesterfield Fence and Deck is not it. What they are is the company that guarantees their work and has been doing great work for 57 years. Quality work that will last for a long, long time. So you can enjoy your outdoor space for years to come. If you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing. ChesterfieldFence.com.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Now, a look back at this week's Chris and Amy show. Out of context.
Oh, baby, it's hot.
Drizzling and spritzing.
You know how to put it in drive. Do you know where the turn signal is? Where the washer fluid is?
I have golder toilets than you do.
Because I want those lamps.
Because people are stupid.
I don't think Abraham Lincoln invented the horseshoe sandwich.
Michael Calhoun was on with his gas buddy.
You are absolutely an issue and everybody hates you.
Oh, no, crunch.
Well, that's going to be a tough one this week. The week out of context. And before we get to that, and Amy and I guess, it is time to give away tickets for Zach Bryan. We are looking for caller number 6 to the contest line, and Zach Bryan performing at the Dome tomorrow night, courtesy of AEG. They have given us these tickets to give away to you, and we need caller number 6 to 314-955-1120. 314-955-1120. Best of luck to you. Okay, let's play the game, Matt.
All right, Ranji, you're up first. Give some context to this.
Oh, baby, it's hot. Oh, baby, it's
hot. And he said that on this show?
I did? I don't remember it.
Yeah. Funny enough, it's actually about the Zach Bryan tickets. You said it's a hot deal. It is hot.
I never would have gotten that. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it's a great deal because we get you in the building.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You said you didn't promise
free.
really anything else.
Right.
You don't happen to have a quote about being Joe Biden and loving trains?
I do not have
okay,
it did not happen. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it happened.
Amy, give some context to this.
Drizzling and spritzing. Well, super easy. That has been the weather every day, all day outside Studio B.
Correct.
Spritz and drizzle.
Was that one of your weather reports?
Yeah, I'm getting pretty good at it. I could be a weatherman.
No, you cannot. And if you were, you'd be wrong 50% of the time, according to Councilman Mark Harder out in St. Louis County.
Raj,
did you forget what we're talking about?
No, I was thinking of a pun.
Oh, okay.
I was going to meteorology, it's harder than it looks.
Right, Raj.
That hamster was moving. I was like, does she know what?
It was a slow-moving
I
hamster.
thought of a bunch of puns, and then I thought Matt would move on.
It was you,
I was
right?
waiting for something clever.
I was waiting for something. That's going to be a long wait.
Yeah. All right, Raj, you're next.
You know how to put it in drive. Do you know where the turn signal is? Where the washer fluid is? Well, that's why we were talking about how bad Missouri drivers are.
That's right.
And how they don't learn anything because they don't have to take driver's ed before they go do their driver's test. And the driver's test is the bare minimum. They don't really teach you anything. You don't learn anything, and then you get in that car and go, now what?
Why does everybody talk like this?
I don't know.
Guess I'll merge now.
It's all merge. I thought you were talking about marriage, husband and wife. That's a merge.
Oh, that too.
Well, yeah, they do that at 23, right about the time they get their license.
Amy?
Oh my gosh, you're so condescending.
What?
I have golder toilets than you do.
What does that mean, Amy?
Oh, easy. It's the adolescent one-upsmanship of Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, and how Vladimir Putin said his dog was bigger and better dog
Oh, that's right. I
than
remember
George
that.
Bush's dog.
That's right,
Like
George
a
Bush-
year later,
So
Putin
funny.
met George Bush's dog, and then a year later, he's like, "Here's my dog. It's bigger and better," which is very Trumpian because he's like, "Oh, it's the best. We're looking into it. It's pretty gold. We're looking into it."
Think about what kind of person do you have to be to meet somebody's dog and then a year later show them your dog and go, look how big my dog
Probably
is, better than yours.
A
What
autocratic,
kind
murderous former KGB agent committing war crimes.
That one.
That's the kind.
See,
Raji,
I want those lamps.
What lamps?
Oh, at Six Flags, if Six Flags ever closes, the lamps from Gaslight Square, the old Gaslight Square that was at Olive and Boyle in St. Louis, it was a hopping place to be back in the 60s. Well, some of those lamps are at Six Flags now. So I want those
Which just got
lamps.
sold.
Hey, quick note,
Which just was sold this week.
because you had brought up the golden toilet thing. Lest people think that Ranj is always poo-pooing Trump, no pun intended, with the toilet. You actually like the gold toilet.
I do.
Yeah, you admire that.
Yeah.
You wish you had a gold toilet.
If I had a gold toilet, I would never sell it.
Yeah.
Even if I were, I don't know, like $1 million in debt, I would say, nope,
Nope.
I need this toilet because I want to show people when they come over. And I
Yeah.
would say, do you have to go to the bathroom? And they would say, no, I'm good. We did before I left the house. I'm like, no. Are you sure?
Yeah.
You're going to want to go to
Yeah.
the bathroom.
And the ladies would be so impressed.
That's right.
Wow.
Amy, you're next. Give some context to this quote.
Because people are stupid.
Appalling comments to our listeners.
People are so stupid. That's the problem. Is I don't know why I said it this time.
So you're saying so many people are stupid that you
about
can't narrow
so
it
many
down?
Things. I'm gonna go with the least offensive one, which is no, I can't put that one.
It's okay.
I don't know.
You
I
were
don't know.
talking about people on Southwest Airlines who would put their luggage above the seat and then sit somewhere else.
Like
and then
back
Because
deeper
with
in the plane.
the new assigned seating, everybody was jamming their carry-on under
Yeah.
the front and then going to the back. So everyone who sat in the back or in the front had to go to the back to put their luggage. It was a disaster.
Good job. job. Ron, this one's pretty bad. So explain this.
Okay. You are absolutely an issue, and everybody hates you.
Oh no, Crunch.
Again, something that's said far too often on the show. There's so many examples.
I wasn't talking about Matt.
No, not that time.
I wasn't talking about Amy.
Not his hypothetical wife.
Was it a texter?
No, it's also airline related. If that gives you any hints.
Airline.
Pilots?
No. Airline related. I don't.
So we're
No.
talking about the new policy from United Airlines, who will ban passengers
Oh.
who play music or
Without
videos from their
headphones.
phone without headphones.
Yep. Without
we're
headphones.
doing really poorly today.
Yeah. What we really need to reel it in.
Yeah.
I think
You
we
and
need
me.
to be more specific because if you just go, "You're stupid," everybody hates you. I mean, that could be a million
It
things.
could be a million
Be
different things.
specific in your criticism.
That's right. Well,
Wow.
we got a
Well,
context. I don't even think we're going to get to do it next week, or will we? We might. I'm not sure because we're going to have an early off time because the Billikens play at 10:30 a.m. a week from today in the A10 tournament, and we're going to have it right here on KMOX. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy Arch Madness if you're going. Go Birds, by the way. They'll play tonight. And whatever it is you're doing, city game, whatever, have a good one and be safe. Amy Marks course, Chris Ranji, back with you Monday at 9. If you missed anything, it's on KMOX.com or the Odyssey app, the podcast there for you. Gas House Gang next. Oh, baby, it's hot.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by Wesley